PC Rupert Gadd says they need more information.
We do have a number of witnesses that were at the scene, but we are appealing for witnesses who saw either the gentleman on the bridge or any persons that passed the scene on the southbound or northbound carriageway.
Elsewhere, Amanda Knox says she's frightened and saddened by the decision of Italian judges to overturn her acquittal for the murder of the British student Meredith Kircher back in 2007. Her former boyfriend, Raphael Solecito, has also had his conviction reinstated. Neither were in court, though, in Florence to hear the verdict. More locally, a group of people living in Bedford met police bosses last night to put forward their case for increased policing. It follows the fatal stabbing of Isaac Stone in the Midland Road area of the town last weekend. Steve LePage from the local Residents Association says there are several issues of concern.
We have a problem with antisocial behaviour, largely down to street drinking. There's a lot of off-licences in the community, lots of places which then become gathering points for street drinkers. I know that causes difficulty for folk. Regularly see people cross the road to get to the other side and then cross back to the side they were on just to avoid groups of folk drinking and stuff.
An economic think tank says living standards are still dramatically down on what they were before the financial crisis started in 2008. It's also believed to be unlikely to recover before next year's general election. The Institute for Fiscal Studies found all households had seen their income squeezed because of a decline in real earnings. Sport then now, and Watford let a first half 2-goal lead slip, and they actually lost 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. A Gabrielle Angela brace looked to have given the Hornets all 3 points, but even just 4 second half goals gave Forest the points. So weather then, it'll be a dry start to the day with some bright spells developing, growing quite windy in parts there come the afternoon. Temperatures reaching 8 degrees Celsius. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning, Serena.
Morning. What's my name, sorry?
What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you?
Yeah, sometimes I do wonder.
Do you want to have some unscripted banter now, or do you want some unscripted banter later on?
Let's get it out of the way.
What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, no. You can't. That's so inane to start off, isn't it?
It's unscripted banter.
Is it?
All right, OK, I got some. What did you get up to last night?
Oh, my life. On a school night?
It's unscripted banter. All right, you throw some at me then.
OK, then. What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week?
What? I wish we'd scripted that banter. What, the most exciting thing... the most exciting thing that happened to me is Lee Ryan from Blue thought he knew me and gave me a hug.
Wait, who did you think you were then?
Well, I got no idea. He gave me a hug and said, all right, bruv. Maybe he thought I was his brother.
Brother.
Let me try some.
Yeah.
OK, right. I've got some unscripted banter.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do with the news team. What is your name?
Exactly. You know, you've got to get that right
Serena.
first. Let's have a starting
Is your
point.
name Serena?
Yeah, thanks.
That's what I said. What's the most exciting thing you've ever done?
Oh, come on!
Sure, all right, I tell you what we'll do. We'll get the team to write a script and we'll do this at 6:30, yeah?
All right, then.
Nice one. Morning, sleepy eyes. Right. Catherine, could you write some scripted banter for me and Serena for 6:30, please? Or Kelly, you can do that. Thank you very much indeed. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots to talk about this morning, including accusations of vote rigging in Luton, attempts at reassurance in Bedford, and car in kitchen in Hertfordshire. And coming up, we're going to play the Ghostbusters theme as well, just for the sheer heck of it. Can you dig that out? Yeah, why not? Why not? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
And if just to say, after yesterday's very, very poor show, it was a very poor show yesterday, wasn't it, Catherine? Let's be honest.
Yeah, mostly your fault, admittedly.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. No, let's listen.
It's not apportion blame, but it was you.
I don't like this blame culture that
it's terrible, isn't it?
We've got into. So let's step away from that.
Blaming you.
Also, it's inaccurate. But just to say, we've spoken to the bosses, and if you were disappointed in yesterday's show, you can claim a partial refund on your BBC television licence
from Iain Lee direct.
Well, no, if you contact BBC London, they will send you 0.03 pence back, because that's what yesterday's show kind of is worth, and that's what you'll get back. It was a very poor show.
I should point out now that they won't.
No, they will. It's a fact. You're not allowed to lie on the radio. They'll actually do it. But before you apply for that refund, just to say, today's show is probably going to be even better than normal.
So you'll end up owing us.
You're going to owe us more money. You're going to owe us a £5. So just bear that in mind. Are you writing some scripted banter for me and
your
that
first
lady?
bit. That was good.
No.
Serena, it's her name, isn't it?
Yep.
Serena.
I'm not sure.
Yes, thanks.
Excellent stuff. That's really going to be something to look forward to. Just after 6:30. Now, on to something a little bit more serious. Members of the Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way that councillors are chosen. It's being claimed that people are being signed up as Labour Party members who shouldn't, including children, people who don't live in the town, and some even being signed up to the party without their knowledge. The accusations have come to light after long-serving councillor Robin Harris was voted out of his council seat after 20 years in the job. Well, our political reporter Paul Scoins has been investigating this. Joins me now. Branch stacking. That's the term. What is it?
Yes, Ian, this is actually something, it's a term that became popular in Australia after something similar happened at the Australian Labour Party. They're not connected, spelt differently. But the allegations here are that some people have recruited large numbers of family and friends to the party within a short space of time. The suggestion is that they did this in some cases without the knowledge of these people, and indeed in some cases the members are below the age limits allowed by the Labour Party, so under 14. Now, with a branch full of one group, it's alleged that individuals have complete control of how the vote will go. And the impact of this, I suppose, it's being told to us anyway, is that some candidates who stand to become, elected, or at least councillor candidates, have no chance of being elected. And potentially this also extends all the way up to how the party chooses its MPs.
So you've got Councillor A, Councillor B, or potential Councillor A, potential Councillor B, but potential Councillor A gets all of his friends and family, loads of people in, so that he wins that election.
Yeah, that there are groups of people who are selecting those sorts of... by packing out the membership, it can only go the one way. And these aren't the public votes, these are the elections within the Labour Party to put forward candidates.
And this is said to be happening here in Luton?
Yes, and it's said to have been happening for years and years, and in some wards they say the increase in membership numbers is described as being highly irregular. For example, I've seen some Labour Party documents, and in the Biscot ward, the membership there grew by 314% over a sort of 3-year period. In Farley, where Robin Harris was deselected, that grew by 179%. In Dallow, it rose by 400% in 3 years.
And this is at a time, I would imagine, when membership of these kind of things is probably dropping, isn't it, elsewhere?
Well, I think, yes, statistically over time, numbers have reduced. And indeed, these are, at odds with what you would expect these numbers to do. These are 3 areas also, Ian, had the highest rates of members who lapsed and cancelled very quickly. So that would suggest that there was quite a temporary pattern. It also had the highest rate of memberships that were sold at discounted rates, and also the highest number of members who'd all joined on the same day, often more people at once. And, that isn't necessarily wrong, it's just highly uncommon, and it certainly raised some eyebrows within the party. I'm also told that some of these branches, as we've said, are signing up members from the same family. I've seen the lists, and that would certainly suggest it is the case. Anecdotally, councillors say that they know that some of those people, because they know them, are children, and certainly younger than they should be in terms of Labour Party members. I've also been told that reps have gone door to door, knocking on people who are down as being members, and actually finding out that they had no idea they were members of the party.
Wow.
This is something that we spoke to Akbar Dad Khan, who's a member of the Labour Party in Luton. He's also a local campaigner from a group called Building Bridges, and he says this has been a long-standing problem.
Branch stacking has been an old issue in at least 4 or 5 wards in Luton. All concerned and responsible people at regional level and local level have been aware of it. Nobody has done anything to deal with the issue, and the issue has been flagged up many a times. A group have been responsible in order to keep hold on to the power and to promote themselves as future councillors and future leaders of the British politics. And quite recently, as things have started to move into the election gear, it has become more apparent how this branch stacking is working against long-term, decent, intelligent young men and women who want to be candidates and fight on behalf of the Labour Party.
OK, how does this affect me? How does this affect the listeners? How does this affect democracy?
Well, I think there's clearly concern from the senior members of the, or some senior members of the party in Luton, and we'll hear later on from a sitting councillor who says he's seen this happening. In a statement to us, the chair of the Luton South constituency party, John Whittaker, said that, he said in places the membership of the party has been consistently, systematically packed by a small group of individuals to their own ends. It's clear to me that in some wards the democratic process is non-existent. He also says they've taken every opportunity to try and tackle this abuse with limited success. And as chair, he says he made it clear that this behaviour is unacceptable. In some cases, could even be illegal. The impact, I suppose, Iain, is that you are, when you go to the public vote, you are sort of almost guaranteed of who they're going to get, and that, to the wider democracy, is perhaps the issue. Gavin Shuker, the MP for Luton South, says this problem, it's claimed, affects the community at large.
What does the party say officially? Well,
lots of denials and off-the-record briefings, and last night I spoke to one of the councillors from the Farley ward, where Robin Harris was deselected. Mahmoud Hussain was elected alongside Dave Taylor, who switched from another seat when Robin Harris lost his seat. And I understand that Councillor Hussain and Councillor Taylor received each around 20 votes. Robin Harris, however, received 1 vote, and that is indeed a councillor who's been there for 19 years. He was the exec member for finance, a very well-respected councillor within that portfolio. He then resigned, saying there'd been widespread branch packing and councillors were being bullied. And Councillor Hussain gave his reaction to me and my colleague at the Beds on Sunday paper, Coleman Ghazi, about these claims.
He said that there's been bullying of councillors and also allegations that the membership numbers have been packed out as well by certain families.
Well, he said some councillors, he didn't say who, but he said councillors in the statements.
Bullying in what terms? I don't know. Do you see any of us being bullied here?
Well, I would guess maybe it's internal politics that could have been the result.
No, we do differ. Yeah. We all have a different points of view. But anybody being bullied by anybody? No.
What about
especially Mr. Harris?
Yeah.
He certainly would not be bullied by anybody.
What about the allegation of membership packing then? The idea that there are certain areas where it would be virtually impossible for anybody without certain, connections to be able to go through.
It's every area has members democratically elect, and they do, time to time, make changes. And that's the nature of the democracy.
Well, we asked, didn't we, to speak to the senior leadership of the party in Luton. They've declined.
Yes, that's right. We've put several calls into the leader of the council, Hazel Simmons, and she's not come back to us. An East of England Labour Party spokesperson has sent a statement saying that the Labour Party is determined to ensure that every Labour candidate is selected in an open, transparent and fair way. We're satisfied that all our selections are being carried out properly, and any suggestions otherwise are wrong.
Well, we'll talk to a councillor later on in the show who says he's seen this happen, also plus the 2 MPs in the town who are extremely concerned about the allegations. And you can see more about this joint investigation with BBC Three Counties and BBC One Sunday Politics this Sunday at 11. Paul, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. I've just been sent the script for the scripted banter between me and Serena later on.
Obviously writing is rewriting, but it's the best I could do with short notice and lack of inspiration. But I think it's going to be pretty good.
It's a little bit...
It's tense, it's got tension. It's got... Surprise! Don't tell her, because I've got plans.
Okay, it's got casual racism in it.
No, xenophobia. It's not racism.
Xenophobia. That's okay. We can do that, can we?
I think so. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Just having a quick look on the cameras, and things are looking fairly quiet at the moment. There are major roadworks on the M1, the Luton Spur. That's in both directions between Junction 10A, the Kidneywood roundabout, and Junction 10, Luton Airport Spur Road. Now, that might affect you if you're travelling to or from the airport this morning. Also, narrow lanes and speed restrictions of 50 miles an hour on the M25. That's because of major roadworks between Junction 23, that's South Mims, and 25 for Enfield. Public transport looking all right this morning. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. It's 6:16. It's Friday, the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way councillors are chosen. Residents in Bedford met police bosses last night asking for increased policing. And Watford lost 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night despite being 2-0 up at half-time. Oh dear. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The Six Nations. It's not just about rugby. It's about rivalry.
Everything riding on this game. Lose, you're staring at the abyss.
It's about nations.
A bit of pride there. That's what they're living off at this moment in time.
Your nation.
Into the corner! Magnificent victory!
Because our fiercest rivals are those who are closest.
A monumental game for the nation. This is hard-edged rugby.
The Six Nations starts tomorrow afternoon across the BBC.
50 years since the Beatles! Here's one of them.
Baby's good to me, you know she's happy as can be, you know she said so. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. Baby says she's mine, you know she tells me all the time, you know she said so. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world that her baby buys her things, you know. He buys her diamond rings, you know. She said so. She's in love with me and I feel fine. Baby says she's mine, you know. She tells me all the time, you know. She said so. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world that her baby buys her things, you know. He buys her diamond rings, you know. She said so. She's in love with me and I feel
Beds, Hearts and Bucks were declaring war on Northamptonshire. Let's go and take them over! Let's take them over! They're a lazy county. We could beat them easily. Easily. Let's declare war on counties, shall we? The Cornish would declare war on us with a moment's notice. Imagine if Cornwall had the bomb. Imagine that for a second. The Kernos. They want to be a separate country, don't they?
Yeah, quietly and angrily.
Yes, and Yorkshire wants to be a separate country as well.
Well, they think they are.
Scotland wants to be a separate country.
They think they are.
Wowzers. Let's go on. We're going to take over a county at a time until the three counties owns them all. We're going to start with lazy Northamptonshire.
I don't want Shropshire.
Oh, no. We'll cut them off and set them afloat.
Yeah.
Are they landlocked?
I think they're a bit landlocked.
There must be, if we get maybe 3 really strong helicopters and some saws, we can saw it out like a jigsaw piece, take it and plonk it in the Irish Sea. They're gone. They're gone.
I don't want Shropshire because its shortened form, salop, means something quite rude in French.
What does it mean? What? I can't... What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually heard that. If you didn't hear that,
there's no need for that.
Go back on BBC iPlayer and really whack up those levels. You can also hear what it was that Catherine Boyle had to say.
Or look it up in a dictionary, learn some French.
Do you know what? Here's a thing. I was in a gentleman's office the other day.
Is that a toilet or...?
No, I was in an office of a
actual gentleman's office.
And I noticed he had a dictionary. And I was sat there, and he was talking about it was really boring. It was like a worky thing about something that will never actually happen. And I was looking at his dictionary, I thought, I'd really like to treat myself to a nice, big, fat dictionary.
I've got 3 enormous dictionaries from my linguistic studies.
But they'll be out of date. They won't have shizzle in.
Don't matter, they've got loads of stuff in. I know what shizzle means. I don't need to look that up.
I would...
coffee, please.
Tea, please. I've got a tea bag as well. I might treat myself to a big, fat dictionary with all the words.
Yeah.
All the words in.
Trouble is, I keep putting new ones in. But you could always put them in pencil.
Anyway, we've got you in for a reason. It's not just... I haven't got... Oh, blimey, look. I'll have a coffee because my bag's upstairs. Right, we've got you in for something quite important, actually.
And serious.
Yes, and serious indeed. On Tuesday, we brought you the news. Very serious. We're talking about Midland Road. Do you remember this the other day in Bedford, where people were saying it was the front line? They were concerned. Lots of horrible things had happened there, including a stabbing recently. And the people who lived there say they wanted to see more police on patrol in order to feel safe. Had lots of calls about it as well. Well, last night, Ollie Martins, the Police and Crime Commissioner for Bedfordshire, attended a residents' meeting to talk through their concerns. Well, Catherine Boyle, you've been looking into this.
Yeah.
Lots of horrible things have been happening. Remind us kind of a little bit of the backstory.
Well, it's safe to say that people living and working around the Midland Road area feel that the place has been left to go downhill for some time. Many would argue that the reputation is far worse than the reality, but there's no denying that the place has problems. Remember, this is what they told our reporter Tony Fisher.
I'll tell you what, I've been stopped 3 years ago, you know. And my friend's been dying here on this road, yeah. 3 years ago, he been stopped, same, to death, yeah.
On Midland Road?
Yeah, Midland Road, yeah. 3 years ago, yeah. So this road, I don't know why, always is someone dying on this road. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's crazy, you know.
Anything that could be done about Midland Road?
More policing. There don't seem to be any police about anymore like there used to be. And I think that has a big effect on the area. I'm sure if there were police about, a lot of this wouldn't happen. But it's one of these areas, it's one of these places. It's always been suspect to sort of crimes and things like that, so...
Are you happy with your daughter living just off this road?
No. But it's just got worse. I'm terrified to walk anywhere, you know, when it gets dark. It frightens me sometimes, I must admit, walking down here.
I don't know, it's just the way this road is. It's always been like that. How can you change something that's always been the same?
But last weekend things took a dramatic turn for the worse, didn't they?
They did, with the death of a teenager by the name of Isaac Stone. He was fatally stabbed in Costin Street on Saturday, about 6:20. Another man was left with life-changing injuries. And the following day we were told that a 20-year-old man had been questioned in connection with the death of Isaac Stone, but he was released on police bail pending further inquiries. Bedfordshire Police told last night's meeting that Isaac probably knew his attackers. This was a targeted attack. Since then, the police have stepped up patrols in the area, but some residents feel that this is just a short-term fix.
It's understandable, isn't it, then, that the Police and Crime Commissioner went to meet residents?
Well, he was always going to meet them.
Right.
Last night's meeting was organised before Isaac Stone's death, and it was supposed to be a meeting to address a feeling from residents and indeed the local MP that police weren't tackling low-level crime and that drug and alcohol use was happening quite openly in the area despite a ban on drinking in the streets there. And that was addressed by police. They said that they were and had been working to address those problems. But, of course, last Saturday's stabbing ended up dominating proceedings, and it actually started with 1 minute's silence for Isaac Stone.
Well, I bet that was very powerful. What are the police actually doing then?
Chief Inspector Julian Frost was also there with Ollie Martins, of course, the Commissioner. He told the meeting that more than 100 officers have been designated to the case of the death of Isaac Stone and that Beds, Herts and Cam's major crime unit's taken it over. The number of PCSOs working in Midland Road has been stepped up to reassure the public, and there'll be extra patrols this weekend. There's also a dedicated police constable for the area.
Extra patrols just for this weekend?
They've been stepped up at the weekend. And this will not, it's not something that can be sustainable in the long term, but this is what they're doing for now.
Okay.
So extra patrols this weekend, a dedicated PC for the area. And again, Bedfordshire Police appealed for anyone with information to call their non-emergency 101 number. And Ollie Martins tried to reassure the public, saying this was a targeted attack on Isaac Stone, but he understood that fear was one of its, and this is his term, main ripples. Afterwards, our reporter spoke to the residents, and this resident in particular told us that she was confident the community could overcome this situation.
This area does have a bad reputation and we can't ignore it, and we're not trying to ignore it, but we are trying to look at negatives and positives. There's a huge amount of positivity in this area. People are friendly, we know each other, we know our neighbours, and there's a
wide diversity of people who all get on for the most part. You know, we're not necessarily bosom buddies, but we get on. We live in this place. We're concerned about its welfare and, you know, things like that. I think where it's at its best is when we do things together, and that's, you know, the definition of community, to come together with a gift.
Catherine, thank you very much. We'll see you a little bit later on for the newspapers. Later on in the show, we'll have Arlie Martins will be coming in, answering our questions about the ongoing safety around the Midland Road area. If you want to take part in the paper review, 08459 455 555. Should we have a little bit of Glenn Campbell? Would be nice, wouldn't it?
I know a place between life and death for you and me. Best take hold on the threshold of eternity and see the ghost on the canvas. People don't see us. Ghost on the canvas. People don't know when they're looking at soul. In between here and there, there's a place that we can grow. Spirits make love in a wheat field with crows. Like a ghost on a canvas. People don't see them. Ghost on a canvas. No, they never see soul. Ring around the rosary, pocket full of prose you read. Ashes to ashes, we all fall in love with ghost on the canvas.
And in deep hell mess.
We dream in color, others they color their dreams. Takes one to know one, the spirit always knows when it's seen. Like a ghost on a canvas, never can have us. Ghost on a canvas, it's the soul that makes them go.
Oh, I think it's disgusting.
La 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 la, it's Christmas time. La 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 la.
I think there are people out there with special power.
Drugs, prostitution.
This week on the South Bank Show, we'll be looking at the sound of music.
I don't do a programme about Adolf Hitler. No matter how excited I try to sound, my voice always sounds boring. That's just my voice.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, taking a quick look on those cameras for you this morning, and it's already building up on the M1 heading towards London. That's between junction 10 for Luton Airport and 7 Hemel Hempstead. It looks as though that might be connected as well to those major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur. That's in both directions between junction 10A, Kidneywood Roundabout, and junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. So don't forget that if you're travelling towards the airport this morning. Also, narrow lanes on the M25 between junction 23 for South Mims and junction 25 for Enfield. There are speed restrictions of 50 miles an hour there because of major roadworks in that area. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. It's 6:30. Let's get the latest news and sport with Serena Farrett, and after that, a little bit of scripted banter. So I look forward to it.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. The Labour Party in Luton's being accused of rigging the way councillors are chosen. It's claimed they're signing up friends as members who'll then vote them back in. Elsewhere, police say they need the public's help following 2 deaths on the M1 in Hertfordshire. A driver was killed yesterday morning. Amanda Knox says she's frightened and saddened by the decision of Italian judges to overturn her acquittal for the murder of the British student Meredith Kercher. And a group of people living in Bedford, as we've just been hearing, met police bosses last night, asking for increased policing. It comes after the fatal stabbing of Isaac Stone last weekend. That's the news. Now let's turn to all the morning sport.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So Watford lost 4-2 at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest last night. A Gabrielle Angela brace looked to have given the Hornets all 3 points, but 4 second-half goals soon turned their fate around. Ex-Watford player Nick Wright, who was part of our commentary team, thought the Hornets were pretty poor towards the latter end.
When they were 2-0 up, you were never really comfortable. We never thought, we'll close this game. And I think a quality team who know their formation, know how each other play, would close the game out. You'd be comfortable that 2-0 up is a win. With Watford, you just don't feel that at the moment. You feel that there's always a chance for the opposition, and as soon as they start to put under a bit of pressure, the shape goes.
Moving on to Wycombe Wanderers, and their new striker Reach Stike hopes to score the goals that'll keep the Chairboys in the Football League. Wycombe are now just 2 places and 3 points above League 2 relegation zone. So let's turn to cricket, and it's great news for Australia. The women have won the second 2020 International by 7 wickets in Melbourne. England have already, though, won the multi-platform series. The result leaves the score 10-6 in favour of the tourists. Meanwhile, the men and their cricket team play their second 2020 game against Australia in Melbourne in just a couple hours' time. Finally, tennis. Andy Murray will play the opening match in Great Britain's Davis Cup tie against America. There's a chance the reigning Wimbledon might just play 3 matches, including the doubles.
It's not my plan. It's the captain that makes those decisions. It's not up to the players to decide that. And if he wants me to play and my body is good to do that, then I will. Obviously, taking everything into consideration, if I'm physically struggling, I'm sure I won't play. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I've enjoyed playing doubles in the past in Davis Cup, and playing against the Bryans would be an exciting match.
There you go. BBC Three Counties Radio. More from me at 7.
Okie dokie. Right. Hang on a sec. So we just had at 6 o'clock. We tried some unscripted banter.
Yep. It would help though, if I can find someone to do that as well. But never mind.
That was good, Serena.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm looking at my script. Oh, I don't know. I think I can do better.
Really? How on earth could you top such a quality bulletin?
Well, I can do accents, apparently. Other than this one, which I think is supposed to be Yorkshire. How about if I do the weather in, let's say, Dutch?
Oh, I suspect that might be inappropriate and a little offensive. Go on, then.
Super. And then apparently I read the weather, but I haven't actually got the script, so if I think, I'll just look out the window. It's a little bit rainy. Actually, I don't know, because I used to go...
It's a little bit rainy.
Well, I used to... That sounds a bit like Morecambe and Wise or whatever. I used to go out with a Dutch guy, actually. And he used to say doppelganger all the time.
Catherine, I'm lost. She's gone off script. She's freestyling.
What? I didn't write this.
She's workshopping it, and I was told this would be a scripted piece.
Hang on, I know they go. It's because it's a doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. So it's going to be rainy. Yeah, with a little bit of wind thrown in.
That's the Swedish chef, I think.
Yeah, this is... Right, can we do this one again at 7? Because I think there's potential in this, but just...
Temperatures of 8 degrees. So just, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, We'll do it again, and if you could stick to the script...
Okay.
Should we get Jane back?
Do you mind?
Jane could do the Queen. I've heard it.
Oh, now it's turned into a talent contest, is it? We're going from reading news to talent contest. I mean, you know, it's not Britain's Got Factor or whatever it's called. Britain's Got Talent, even. Yeah. Shall we move on?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What is this we're playing? What is this?
I don't know.
It's David Bowie.
It's David Bowie.
No, it's not. Can we get Ghostbusters?
Yeah, but hang on.
I'll tell you what, let's have this.
Nah,
You're
usually I
welcome.
don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little preview of the remix. Now I'm not trying to be cool, but baby, I got a feeling you. The way you do the things you do reminds me of my Lexus cool. That's why I'm all up in your grill, trying to get you to a hotel. I must be a football coach, the way you got me playing the field. So baby, give me that, and let me get that. Running my head through a cold, bouncing up in the floors. That's why they said, here we go.
It's a remix to Ignition, a hot and fresh from the kitchen. My mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We're sipping on rock and rum. It's like, so what, I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby, I'm about to have me some fun. Bounce, 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 bounce. Take it away, R. Kelly.
Now it's like murder, she rolled. Once I get you out them clothes, privacy's on the door, but still they can hear you screaming more. Girl, I'm feeling what you're feeling. No more hoping and wishing. I'm about to take my key and stick it in the ignition. So give me that, let me get that. Running her hands through my fro, bouncing on 24s. Why they say I'm ready? It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We're sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby, I'm about to have me some fun. Crystal popping in the Stretch Navigator. We got food everywhere, as if the party was catered. We got fellas to my left, honey's on my right. We bring them both together, we got juking all night. Then after the show, it's the after party. Yeah, and after the party, it's the hotel lobby. Yeah, around about 4, you gotta clear the lobby. Then take it to your room and somebody. Can I get a can I get a running her hands through my fro, yeah, bouncing on 24. Come on, why they say look it up, ready? It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We're sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby, I'm about to have me some fun. It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. We're sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It's the freaking weekend, baby, I'm about to have me some fun. Come on, girl, we off in this Jeep, fogging windows up, blasting the radio in the back of my truck, bouncing up and down, stroking round and round to the remix. We just thugging it out.
Now that is a song, Kelly. But what's it about?
Well, shall I I'll tell you some of the lyrics and I'll tell you what they mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling you. What he's saying is that
not in an appropriate sense, of course.
No. He wants to court her. He's interested. The way you do the things you do, you know, he's all in love with her. I'm trying to get all up in your grill, which I
What's
think...
a grill?
I think they mean, is it house? I want to come round to your house.
Yep. I want to use your George Foreman and make you a nice bit of lean meat. I'm going to give you some lean meat.
Lean meat. The only type of meat. That's
you
why
can get fatty meat.
Trying to get you to a hotel. He wants to take her out for a nice weekend away.
A mini break, perhaps.
And make some of those home movies he's so famous for. Kelly, thank you very much for that. This is... I've just made sure I don't get any cover shifts at BBC Northampton. Have a look on Twitter. 08459 well, I mean...
You wait until I'm in here to do stuff like that, I've noticed.
Yeah, well, you know. Listen.
Heartburn off those headache tablets.
I know. Listen, this thing I've noticed about some of those headache tablets is if they get stuck in, sometimes it's hard to swallow them.
Yeah.
They get stuck in your throat. My throat feels it's like bruised for the rest of the day. Very, very uncomfortable.
On the upside, I haven't got a headache anymore.
You right, Kels?
I've just seen your tweet.
Yeah.
I'll say it for people who aren't on Twitter.
Yeah.
On BBC 3CR is literally the best show we've ever done. It's happening now. In your face, BBC Northampton.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's fighting talk.
We're taking over the county. After the show, dear listener, if you'd like to join me in the car park at BBC Three Counties Radio, all of us will march, single file, up with... You've got to bring a lit torch.
Do we march on Northampton or do we go for Corby first?
Well, I don't know yet. We're going to take over the whole county. We're going to surround the county. There should be enough of us. And then kind of walk in until we're in the central point, and then we're going to get the Mayor of Northamptonshire, and we're going to hang him, not by his neck, we're going to hang him by his feet upside down from a lamppost.
Yeah, I fear that you want to go in all guns blazing straight into Northampton. I think we need to pick off the perimeter first.
Okay, you can be the B group. No disrespect, it's just the second letter of the alphabet. B for blooming good.
I've been doing my research.
Best.
Yep.
I think we might win this.
Yep.
Their tweet this morning: is Northamptonshire a lazy county?
Yes.
1 in 4 of us doesn't even manage half an hour of exercise a month.
Lazy.
So we've kind of got it in the bag.
Because we all know, Beds, Hearts and Bucks, we are as fit as flipping anything, aren't we? Aren't we? In both senses of the word. I've seen some of you beautiful guys and girls out there, and I've also seen that you also have very high gym membership rates as well, which is great.
And also a lot of sportswear.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of tracksuits. They've got to be fit. We're going to go to Northamptonshire later on after the show, and we're going to own that bad boy. Papers, Catherine, what have you got?
Is Sarah Jessica Parker... No, I'm not reading that.
What's on the... Can you just quickly pick 3 papers at random?
Yeah.
And tell me the front page. Three papers at random.
Foxy Noxy guilty again, says the Daily Mail.
OK, so that's a big story.
Yeah. Guardian says, guilty again, court reinstates Knox conviction for murder.
Yep, OK.
And Daily Express... Suspects paid to snatch Maddie. Paid to snatch Maddie being in quote marks.
Big stories. So the fact that the police are closing in on suspects in the Madeleine McCann case, and the fact that Foxy Noxy, Amanda Knox, who was charged, was found guilty of murder, then found not guilty of murder, and then found guilty of murder again. Big stories.
Neither she or Raffaella Sollecito were in court yesterday. I wonder why.
Well, she says
not
I'm
even in
not
the country.
She says I'm not going back to Italy again. I wonder why. The reason I asked about the 3 random front pages because I thought that I've got the Sun in front of me, and I thought that because of their front page, nothing had happened. It would appear some big things have happened.
Yeah.
The front page of the Sun: bring me sunshine. Dear Lord, we've had enough. After worst January rain in history, join our... This is the whole front page. Join our prayer campaign with patron saint against bad weather. Today, we urge rain-battered Britons to pray with the patron saint of good weather. This January is the wettest on record for parts of the UK. Reverend Susan Evans, whose Lincolnshire church is named after patron Saint Medard, last night led prayers begging, Dear Lord, we've had enough. Turn to page 4 and 5. There's a double-page spread. They've even managed to get a couple of dolly birds in a churchyard pretending to pray, but in a sexy way. That's the front page. The front page of Britain's biggest selling newspaper is that cobblers. Utter cobblers.
Oh.
What else you got?
Parents furious. School governor takes daughter out of class to save £5,000 on a Costa holiday.
Oh, hang on a second. Now, it's one rule for one rule for another.
Twould seem.
We talked about this. I don't have a problem with taking kids out of school on school holidays.
And I, as you know, do.
You see, I'm the voice of reason. You are the voice of unreason.
Right.
Well, that's just a fact.
Just said, look, if you were going to do it, accept the fine. If it's so much cheaper, it'd be worth it, won't it?
Well, exactly.
Or don't do it. I wouldn't.
Yard to examine Maddie suspects' bank accounts. Lots of stories like that. Jim Davidson's Celebrity Big Brother win sets a Channel 5 record. Wow, this is incredible for Channel 5. Jim Davidson's victory in the final episode of Celebrity Big Brother brought Channel 5 a total of 3.8 million viewers making the show its most-watched series ever. For Channel 5, those figures are huge. Huge figures. There'll be more of that in the summer, he says, hopefully.
This is an interesting one.
Yes.
Page 9 of the Daily Mail. I won't kill pet that savaged me 3 times. A dog owner's refusing to destroy her pet. A bull mastiff, which left Angela Fielder needing emergency surgery to save her hand. Another mauling caused wounds to her face, ear and arm that required more than 60 stitches. Despite her injuries, the 39-year-old insists she will not get rid of 10-stone Boris or make him wear a muzzle.
This was in one of the papers yesterday, and there were pictures of her injuries, really nasty injuries. Why would you have something in your house that could even potentially do that, and then it's done it to her 3 times?
OK, she's saying, well, I don't think he's responsible for it, but you are responsible for that animal, so he does that to you, right, you say that you're not going to hold it against the dog. What if he does it to someone else?
Exactly. I do think you see these huge dogs wandering around, sometimes off leads without muzzles. Come on, there's no need for it.
What are they for? They're working dogs, aren't they, those big dogs?
And imagine having they're like a bear. Why would you want a bear running around your house and mauling you? I think everyone should have cats or rabbits, and that should be it.
Cats or rabbits? No guinea pigs?
Oh no, dirty little things.
What are guinea pigs for?
Well, I think we know.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's starting to build up on the roads now. M1 heading south between junction 10 for Luton Airport and 7 for Hemel Hempstead, looking busy on the cameras. And there are major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between junction 10A, that's the Kidneywood roundabout, and junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. So that might affect you if you're travelling to the airport this morning. Also looking heavy on the North Orbital at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Right, 6:46, it's Friday. Yes, the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. It's claimed the Labour Party in Luton are signing up friends as members who'll vote them back in. Locals in Bedford are demanding more police officers in the town after the fatal stabbing of Isaac Stone last weekend. Watford are now 16th in the Championship after losing 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. 08459 455 555. Maybe we'll take your calls, although let's be honest, no one's called in so far. It's because it's the best show we've ever done.
Yeah.
And they're at home, both caught up in the politics and also having a good old laugh at the humour. Let's find out what's happening in the skies and then ultimately, I guess, on the ground. Particularly if it's raining, although sunshine would have...
It's weather.
Thank you so much.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much. Good morning. It's Sarah Thornton here on your weather this morning, and I'm here to tell you that there's some mist and fog patches around across the 3 counties at the moment. Something certainly to be aware of. And the other thing I'd really like you to take note of is the fact that you'll be stepping out to a dry morning largely this morning. You'll be coming home to some very wet and windy weather this evening, though. So we start with temperatures around 2 or 3 Celsius, cold, cloudy, and as I say, some mist and fog patches. They'll lift, though, and then we'll be dry with some cloud around. The cloud will start to thicken up from the west as we head towards the afternoon, and by about 2 o'clock we've got rain with us, and once it's with us right the way through the evening into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Could potentially have 1 or 2 showers first thing this morning, actually, it's worth mentioning, but largely it's the rain we're watching out for, and the wind's really picking up as that rain comes through. It'll clear away though in the early hours of tomorrow morning, and then temperatures down as low as 2 degrees again. It means we could see a touch of iciness first thing tomorrow morning to greet your Saturday, but also there'll be a lot of dry weather around and some sunshine. A couple of showers potentially later in the afternoon, but largely a dry for tomorrow. It's still quite chilly, and the winds ever increasing through tomorrow. It will be a windy day, top temperature of 6 Celsius. The winds ease on Sunday, another chilly start on Sunday morning, but then dry with some good spells of sunshine and a top temperature of 7 or 8 Celsius. It looks like we'll be dry for the start of the new working week, but rain by the end of Monday, and that's your weather.
If you've got a problem with a company, a council or an organisation...
Get this roofing company round, see if they can fix the problem, and I'll pay the bill. He said, yeah, I did say that.
The JVS show fights for your rights.
This conversation went round and round and round.
And tackles your consumer problems.
So, Roy, the question is, has he paid the bill?
Yes, and he was standing there and he handed me an envelope. So I just opened the envelope and I looked inside of it. There's a cheque for £420 and that's it.
If you need our help, email JVS show at bbc.co.uk.
Are you happy?
Yes, I'm quite happy.
I will give him my fanfare, my horn, and any other problems, Roy, you know where I am.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning, Beds, Hearts and Bucks. You're listening to Iain Lee's Breakfast Show. It's an absolutely wonderful show. And if you'd like to hear another absolutely wonderful show, you can tune into BBC Introducing Saturday nights from 8. It's the home of unsigned music made right where you live. Each week, Introducing puts a track forward to be played on the Three Counties playlist. And this week is no different. Here's Casio by George Ezra from Hertfordshire.
Herself away. Well, I better act quick, I better change my ways. Or maybe I'm wasting, maybe I'm chasing time. Oh, come on, let's face it, I'm only ever lost in mine. Well, I got my tracing paper so that I could trace my clock. And the face kept changing and the hands, they wouldn't stop. Well, I was ripping out the battery, I received myself a shock. And to add insult to injury, I could still hear tick and talk. Casio, Casio, please don't leave. Casio, Casio, please don't leave. Cassie's got a new plan, gotta get herself a break. And I try, for heaven's sake. Well, I traveled to Australia and I traveled there by train. This something might sound strange to you, but on the way I came today. And I wrote to tell my family and I wrote to tell my friends. I arrived home, it was lost again, and this torture never ends. Casio, Casio, please don't leave. Casio, Casio, please. Inspector fix me my Casio's bad time. We're losing memories that I can't replace. She says she's tired of me running in circles. She says it's time that we take a break. Casio.
There's George Ezra, Cassie O, the keyboard or a lady, we may never know, Catherine. If you want to hear more songs like that, then BBC Introducing on a Saturday evening, 8 o'clock, presented by Gary Floyd, although this week, is it this week it's being hijacked? Who's hijacking it?
Room 94.
Wowzers, do we need to report that to the police or anything? What, they burst in with guns or something?
No, just hot tunes.
Well, there you go, that'll do.
Please don't leave.
Because of that, we can't play. We haven't got time.
What?
No, exactly. We haven't got time to play this. We also haven't got time to play this. We haven't got time to play it.
Oh.
There we go. We haven't got time to play it. No. Trevor's in St Albans. Morning, Trevor.
Morning, Ian.
Trevor, you're furious. What's wrong?
Oh, I'm not furious.
Oh.
I was just wondering how Kelly got to the conclusion that grill meant house.
We were talking about R. Kelly's remix to Ignition. Kelly translated the lyrics. Kelly, Trevor's furious with you.
Sup, Trev?
He just told me he's furious. Go on, Trevor. So what? Grill? Kelly said grill is house.
Yeah. Try face.
Face, Kelly.
Why would he be in her face? What does he plan to do?
Oh. It's the same as a car. Front of the car is a grill.
Oh, actually, I've checked on urbandictionary.com.
Yeah.
Grill is one's personal business.
Oh.
Oh, Trevor!
Oh, but wait, Trevor, wait. The second, you know, they have one meaning and the second meaning. The second meaning is one's teeth/smile.
Oh.
Oh, so Trevor's
around her business area.
They've given an example. Why you're all in my grill, fool? And you're going to get locked in the grill.
Right, Kelly, first thing, could you apologise to Trevor?
Soz Trevs.
And could you apologise to the listeners?
Sozless.
Trevor, have you ever bought a dictionary?
Have I?
Yeah.
I've got one kicking about somewhere.
I'm tempted to treat myself to a really nice, big, fat dictionary with all the words in.
What, from all over?
Yeah.
Or just this country?
Well, primarily this country. I mean, look, you can't have all... Is there a dictionary that has all the words in all languages?
I'm sure there is somewhere. Locked away.
One. You want to try and find one? It's called the Lost Dictionary. That's quite interesting.
The Lost Dictionary?
The Lost Dictionary, yeah. There's some words in there that are quite amusing.
Are they rude words?
No, not really.
A bit rude?
No.
OK, Trevor, thank you.
He's not interested then.
The Lost Dictionary. Does anyone know about the Lost Dictionary? Just to flag up, because we played that BBC introducing track, we haven't got time to play this morning.
So who are we going to call?
Well, we're not going to call
never
anybody.
know.
We're going to call, we're going to call Dennis in Dunstable. Dennis!
He's up in our grill.
Dennis!
Why are you shouting? I'm not deaf.
Well, oh, dear me. What do you want? Kelly, Catherine's got a really good story for us. Listen to this story and then you can comment.
You'll like this one, Dennis.
Good.
Tesco's removed a range of clothing featuring animals wearing glasses and the words nerd and geek, following a complaint from a mother who said it would lead to her son being bullied.
Right.
Annalise Whittaker, who's 28 and from Ifield, Surrey, demanded the clothing be pulled, saying it stereotyped people who wore glasses, such as her 18-month-old son, Logan. Right. Who can't say it, but was saying, cheers, Mum. What? And no one made the connection.
Several things. She's worked, and there's a picture of Logan in the newspaper.
He's sweet and he's got a lovely pair of blue glasses.
He's beautiful. Right, several things. Tesco aren't responsible for her kid being bullied. She is partly responsible for being the mum who said, get rid of those nerd T-shirts. She's then put him in a newspaper so everybody will go, oh, that's Logan from Elliot's class. So and she's called him Logan. She has basically set him up to be... he's a beautiful little boy. And there's nothing wrong with the word nerd and geek.
I thought that nerd and geek was in now.
They're cool to be... Are you a nerd or a geek, Dennis?
No, I'm not.
What are you?
I'm Dennis.
You're a Dennis. He's a right Dennis, isn't he?
Yeah, well, why didn't you call him... Why didn't you call him Fred? You know, why set him up with a name like that?
Poor lad. Gorgeous little boy. Very sad.
Yeah, no, too bad.
Yeah, what do you want?
I was just saying that when Kelly came and did that announcement, she wants to give up the job with you and go down to the Dragon's Den, because speaking to them like that, they'll give her money by the handful. She could sell snow to Eskimos and think they were getting a good deal. She could out.
Why would she want to sell snow to Eskimos? They've got loads of snow there.
I know, but I'm just saying she's got that voice for a sales lady that could sell snow.
Kelly, try and pretend that Dennis is Duncan Bannatyne.
Mm-hmm.
Try and pitch him an idea and let's see what happens.
Shall I pitch him Snow?
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Duncan. So, Dunks.
Dunks, yeah.
I've got this white stuff, very popular, falls from the sky, quite cold. I think you're missing it. I think you need it. I think you want to play in it and you want to do a little snow angel in it. I think you need to get some in your life, Dunks.
Well, I'll tell you what, just send me a large box of it. My wife can play with it because she's moaning that it's not snowing.
Well...
Yeah, you don't need to sell it to her, you can give it to her for nothing.
Well, hang on a second, Dennis. What's she going to give it away for? She wants to sell it.
I know, I say, but with a voice like that, she's giving it away because people will be coming with...
That's libellous.
Handful of money.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry I had to put you through that, Kelly. Because of Dennis's call, we don't have the time to play this. It's Dennis's fault. Dennis's fault. Catherine, thank you very much. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call about any of the things we've talked about. If anyone can explain what the Lost Dictionary is, I'm intrigued and slightly confused by that. More coming up. Let's get the latest travel news first.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello. If you're travelling to the airport this morning, there are major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between Junction 10A that's the Kidney Wood roundabout, and Junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. Also queues on the A1 heading south between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Just looking on the cameras at the moment, and that's building up there. Also narrow lanes and speed restrictions on the M25. Speed restrictions at 50 miles an hour in both directions between Junction 23 South Mims and 23 25 for Enfield. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kate, thanks very much. It's 6:59. It's virtually 7 o'clock. It's coming up now. Coming up in the next hour, incredible story. There are accusations of vote rigging in Luton, and it affects all of us if it's true. And also the amazing story, you may have seen it in some of your papers this morning, of a car in a kitchen. Ouch. In your face, Northamptonshire. We're coming for you.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. At 7 o'clock, the headlines. Labour Party accused of vote rigging, demands for more police officers in Bedford, and car reversing ends up in a house in Royston.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way councillors are chosen. It's claimed they're signing up friends as members who will then vote them back in, but they include children and even people who don't live in the town. Well, Gavin Shuker, the Labour MP for Luton South, says others who want to become councillors don't actually have a chance.
I think the point of what they're trying to do is to hold on to power against the backdrop of perhaps new members coming in who are very talented, who've got the ability to stand and represent in other positions, or to maintain status within respective communities as well. I think it's really tragic and incredibly short-sighted, and I think the electorate, if they see that we're not dealing with this issue, will punish us at the ballot box.
Elsewhere, people in Bedford met police bosses last night to ask for more police officers. It follows the fatal stabbing of Isaac Stone in the Midland Road area of the town last weekend. Steve LePage from Midland Roads Association says they have several concerns which aren't necessarily connected to the inquiry.
I think it's unrelated in the sense that it doesn't fit with any of the antisocial behaviour, street drinking issues and so on which we generally face. What the cause is, what the background is, as yet we don't know, and that's going to come out in time as the police do their investigations and so on, and that will provide a clarity for that.
New figures show wide variations in the way police record and classify rape allegations. The Inspectorate of Constabulary says in some areas where the number of recorded rapes is far lower than average, victims may be unwilling to come forward because they feel they won't be believed. Now, a Royston family living in a partially demolished house after a neighbour reversed the car into their kitchen. Josie and Tony Paul from Garden Close were on holiday in the Canary Islands when they received a phone call telling them what had happened. Josie says it'll be some time now before the walls are rebuilt.
Once the structural engineer has come and they've made it safe enough to get the car out, then work can start on it. But until it's structurally safe, we can't do anything. I'm just so thankful nobody was hurt.
And there'll be more on this story coming up with Iain Lee here on BBC Three Counties Radio in the next hour. Now, the Dunstable Northern Bypass will start to be built in spite of people's concerns it may take another year. The Community Secretary, Eric Pickles, has confirmed he now won't be calling in plans to build 5,000 homes on land north of Houghton Regis. It means developers can now hand over £45 million towards the development of that road. And in sport, Watford are 16th in the Championship after losing 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. That's despite being 2 goals up at half-time. So let's have a look at the weather, and it's a dry start to the day with some bright spells. Becoming quite windy though this afternoon. Temperatures 8 degrees Celsius is your high. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
That was good, Serena.
Thanks.
No.
Oh, we're doing the banter thing again.
We're going to do the script.
Script, yeah.
Because you muffed it up last time. It feels like you muffed it up this time.
I did. I muffed up, did I?
That was good, Serena.
I haven't got the script in front of me, though. Have I? I mean, I could try an ad-lib, but then you don't like it.
Well, no, we tried the unscripted banter. That didn't work. We're trying this. This is the second attempt at the scripted banter.
You know what? This wasn't in my job description. Do you think I should go back?
That was good, Serena.
Thanks.
It's not
are we still on? I thought you were being genuine. You know what I mean? I don't know when you're being genuine or not. It's a bit difficult, this game. That
was good, Serena.
Thanks, Iain.
Oh, right,
try and beat it.
No,
there you go.
Oh,
try and beat that.
Unbelievable. Get the script for the next one, please. Deary me. Wowzers. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots to talk about this morning. I'll give you the contact details in a bit. Some big stories. And as always, I'm sure you'd like to have your say. You can also call in as well if you want about anything that's on your mind. But coming up in the next hour of the show, accusations of vote rigging in Luton, attempts at reassurance in Bedford, and a car in a kitchen in Hertfordshire. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. You can send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or, and this is the best way to do it, I think, you can give me a phone call. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
And you can call in about anything. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but some of the callers are, how can I put this, a little bit random. So, you know, don't feel you have to have a biting point to make. Dennis never does. Now, members of the Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way that councillors are chosen. It's being claimed that people are being signed up as Labour Party members who shouldn't, including children, people who don't live in the town, and some even being signed up to the party without their knowledge. Well, the accusations have come to light after long-serving councillor Robin Harris was voted out of his council seat after 20 years in the job. Gavin Shuker, the MP for Luton South, says these allegations affect the community at large.
I'm concerned that what people are trying to do is hold on to power for power's sake. That isn't my understanding of what the job of being an elected representative is. It's to represent all communities, and it's to do so and to maintain a culture which is politically straight, where you can't buy votes and where you can't sign people up and where you can't sign people up against their own knowledge, which is some of the allegations that have been made in my own constituency.
Well, that's Gavin Shuker. I think will be joining us a little bit later on in the show. I am joined now. Paul Scoynes, political reporter, is in the studio. Paul, good morning. Good morning. And also Councillor Yaqub Hanif, Labour councillor for the Round Green ward in the town. And Councillor, you say you have seen this happening. Branch stacking is the kind of name for it. What do you interpret branch stacking to be?
Yeah, also known as membership stacking, is where people are joined en masse with or without their knowledge, just to help when it comes around to selections, i.e. for local and national elections, to help select what we call delegates to representative bodies both at a local and national level. So that's the whole motivation behind it.
And it's going on in Luton. This is the allegation that's being made.
As well as quite a few other places around the country, it is rampant throughout Luton, in particular areas, and unfortunately the Robin Harris issue has brought it to a head where, despite many attempts by some people to keep it under wraps, it's just spilled out into the open.
And how long do you think it's been going on for?
For quite a few years, unfortunately.
In Luton?
In Luton, yeah. And what's made it even more difficult for the people that got good intentions locally to put a lid on it is the fact that memberships of the Labour Party itself are handled at a national level. So you join, your membership is registered in London and then it's passed down locally, whereas before memberships used to be handled and dealt with purely on a local basis, so you could manage that.
If it's been going on for so long, for years, as you say, why are we only just hearing about it? How has it been kept under wraps?
I mean, in a way, perhaps it's been kept under wraps because of the way the public are going to perceive how democracy works at a local level, or perhaps because I can't speak for before 2010 is when I joined politics. Is perhaps it was not much of an issue. It was always there. It was acknowledged it was there, but it wasn't a problem. But in the last few years, it's become so bad. We've had one ward where you've had nearly 400 people, and that's double most constituency Labour Party. 400
people join.
400 members in total. In one ward, right? One polling.
And that's a lot, is it?
That is an extraordinary amount, basically, because there are some CLPs, i.e. like parliamentary constituencies, with less Labour members than that.
And so the accusation is that a significant number of those 400 people are children, don't know they've signed up, they've been brought in by unhealthy means, immoral means.
Absolutely. And this particular incident happened in 2011 when it nearly touched 400, and it was done by a couple of individuals to push certain people that they wanted to be selected as candidates for that board.
Who benefits from this? What is the benefit of someone doing this?
The the benefit or the motivation behind this is it's power, prestige, and a position of authority to influence decisions, locally. And then some people try to, use this as a way to influence in parliamentary selections as well.
Why are you speaking out about it? Are you not concerned for yourself?
I'm not concerned about myself, because the thing is, I'm committed to the cause of the Labour Party, which is a socialist movement which is looking to improve the lives of everyone in society. And I don't think those aims or those objectives could be met through these kind of malpractices. And as a party which is committed to the democratic process, we are, we're willing to speak out, put our necks on the line to root out this kind of malpractice. And at the end of the day, you end up with people being selected that are not going to work for the people, who've been elected by the people.
Have you mentioned this higher up in the Labour Party?
I have, as well as many others. They have.
And has there been... What reaction have you had?
The way I've mentioned it locally through the local executive officers, and they've moved it up, but there's just a wall of silence or apathy, or some people have said, "Oh, this is how it is."
The reason I mention this because we tried to speak to the senior leadership of the party in Luton, Labour Party. They've declined. Paul, they've sent us an East of England Labour Party spokesperson sent us a statement. Let me read this, and you can kind of tell us exactly what it means, Paul. The Labour Party is determined to ensure that every Labour candidate is selected in an open, transparent and fair way. We are satisfied that all our selections are being carried out properly, and any suggestions otherwise are wrong. They're saying this isn't happening, aren't they?
Well, indeed, and I think that is a very much a surprising statement to some sort of senior members in the party, indeed to the MPs, and I think that these allegations, as you say, have gone back, perhaps 20 years in some cases, and actually what the party has as an option to do, this is, I suppose, the nuclear option, is to put the constituency into special measures. That means then that the National Party get far more involved. I think there's a reluctance to do that. Not just
Why?
Well, I think there's also a sense from within people who are worried about these claims that actually that wouldn't really change anything. That really, I've spoken to the chair of the local constituency party, John Whittaker, and he said that actually, he said that democracy is effectively non-existent in these some areas, but he then said that actually putting an area into special measures won't actually have perhaps the desired intention. Actually, what it does is serve to highlight an area that doesn't perhaps need to be sort of dealt with other than internally, if you like. It sort of creates a bad image, if you like, but and actually probably doesn't actually solve the problem. But I think this at least has started people talking about it. I think for the wider electorate, the people of Luton, as Yakuba's saying, it's ultimately who you're voting for and how they're selected, whether or not you can work on the basis that are these people selected by the right means. The party says they are. There are people who have denied that this is happening, but clearly we've spoken to lots of people that this is indeed, you say this is happening.
Councillor Gavin Shuker, MP, says unless something is done, the party could suffer at the ballot box. Do you go along with that?
Absolutely, because you want high calibre, competent candidates that simply, are capable of doing the job that they're going to be elected for. And then if they're not able to communicate, empathise and campaign for and on behalf of the people, then you just simply won't get the votes. So, the general, the voting public, they're not, to put it bluntly, they're not a bunch of idiots. A lot of the electorate are very intelligent and articulate people, and they can, suss out somebody very, very quickly as if, they're competent or not, by just answering a set of simple questions. And Paul has seen some public meetings where some people have been left wanting when asked the simplest of questions, and then people remember that when they come up to the next set of election. They say, hang on a minute, he's not so good because I've seen him and he's not done much in the last 4 years. Perhaps there's a time for a change.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, there are concerns not just from within, the council, but also the wider membership. We heard earlier on from somebody from the Building Bridges group Akbar Dad Khan, who said that this is a problem that he's known about for a long time. He said he raised it about 8 weeks ago, and indeed there are, he feels, councillors who are just not up to scratch, and he says that that's a result of this particular allegation, I suppose, of how these people come to power.
Jakub, it must be frustrating for you to see this happening. How does it make you feel?
I've actually lost sleep, sick of the stomach of it, so that's why I've not hesitated to come out and speak about this, because, there has been intimidation, there's been bullying,
Bullying?
Yeah. Threatening phone calls halfway through the night,
To you? Or to people you know?
To people that I know that are in the wards that are affected by this.
Right.
And in fact, I got shoveled off to an unwinnable ward, according to these people. But when I got selected for Rang Green, we had every intention of winning it. But that's how they operate. And I've seen these incidences. You go to meetings, and the people that are being sent by these branches to represent them at the executive level of the local Labour Party, they will just sit there. They won't say anything. There's no political debate. There's shouting, there's screaming, and then you will see at the annual general meeting where the chair and all that, you will have 70 or 80 people turn up. A few weeks down the line, only a dozen people turn up. So it's not serving us properly.
Well, listen, I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for coming in and sharing your story, Paul. Thank you very much indeed. That's Councillor Jakub Hanif, Labour councillor for the Round Green Ward, and of course Paul Scoynes, political reporter. There's going to be more about this story later on in this show, but also on BBC One on the Sunday Politics at 11 a.m. It's 7:15. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the latest travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. On the cameras, looking fairly quiet on the roads this morning. Major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur. That's if you're heading either way between Junction 10A, Kidneywood Roundabout, and Junction 10, Luton Airport Spur Road. So that will affect you if you're travelling to or from Luton Airport this morning. Also on the A1, there are queues heading south between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. And on the M25 between junctions 23 for South Mims and 25 for Enfield, there are narrow lanes and speed restrictions of 50 miles an hour. Also looking slow on the North Circular westbound between Arnos Grove and Bounds Green Road. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. I used to go out with a girl in Arnos Grove. Oh dear, those were the days. Right, 7:16. It's Friday the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. There are claims the Labour Party in Luton are signing people up who are not even residents just so they vote them back in. New figures show big differences in the way police record and classify rape allegations. And on football transfer deadline day, one deal which doesn't look likely is Julian Draxler to Arsenal. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every weekday between 12 and 3, I'm here with a little bit of celebrity.
My geography teacher at school resurrected a jazz standard song, which was Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey.
It made me dedicate myself to trying to be better. I always felt that I wasn't quite good enough.
Expert advice.
Absolutely, you've got it. You've nailed it. I am so happy. Thank you.
And loads of really great music.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We'll have a little bit of Justin Dealey later. I missed Justin's voice in the first hour. His dulcet tones. I don't know what dulcet means. Oh dear. He's scratching himself next door. Must be very itchy. You can get a cream for that, I think. And we'll also find out what's happening on his show tomorrow morning between 9 and 12. Now, a story we were talking about earlier on in the week. Bedfordshire's Police and Crime Commissioner was in Bedford last night to address residents' concerns about Midland Road in the wake of last weekend's fatal stabbing. The meeting had been organised before the death of Isaac Stone, and it highlights that people living and working felt the police weren't tackling an undercurrent of low-level crime. Well, Steve LePage is the chair of the Midland Road Residents Association and joins me now. Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Steve, this meeting was booked in before the unfortunate murder at the weekend. Why had it been arranged?
We have an ongoing work as a residents' association to try and address issues in the community and work for good and build for better for the future.
We've heard that we spoke to a lot of people earlier this week who feel that Midland Road, some people feel scared to walk down there at certain times of the day. Have you come across that attitude?
Not very often amongst local residents. It tends to be people from outside of the area who express those sort of things. The only concerns that some folk locally tend to have is when you get groups of street drinkers on corners or whatever. That can cause a little bit of fear for some of the older population, for folk with young children at times.
How did last night go, Steve?
I think it went pretty well. There was wide expressions of opinion from different people, and it was good to have the interaction with the Chief Inspector and with the Police and Crime Commissioner as well.
So what issues were raised? What are kind of the big stories?
I mean, I think the big issue which is constantly raised is about police presence and the feeling that makes a huge difference. And again, there was somebody present who wasn't actually a local resident, but is often in the area, and raised the issue of dealing with low-level drug issues and so on as a major thing.
Well, we're also joined on the line, say there, Steve, by Chief Inspector Julian Frost of Bedfordshire Police. Julian, you were at the meeting last night. The main thrust seems to be they want more coppers, and that's just not feasible, is it, for an extended period?
Well, there's two things on that, really. Firstly, obviously, at Bedfordshire, we're a small force. We've got to look at where we do put our resources in response to what the threat levels are and what people's concerns are. However, when you say more coppers, I would like to say, firstly, obviously, we have got in the short term for some reassurance and just to get some more information about Isaac's murder. We have got extra police officers on this weekend, and my PCSO team are spending a lot of their extra time. But actually, in the Midland Road and Town Centre areas, I've just brought a PC in to work alongside my PCSO team and PC Karen Jarman. I'm sure local residents who live in that area will have got to meet Karen over the last sort of...
Have you got a local Bobby, Julian? Is that what you're saying?
I am. I'm saying that...
How terribly old-fashioned of you.
Well, I'm trying it and seeing how we get on with it.
And so how is that going to work?
Well, Karen's attached to my team. She's responsible for the Midland Road area that Steve's Residents Association work in, and also for Bedford Town Centre, because the two areas are quite closely linked.
Steve, that must be quite a good thing. We're often hearing people saying, we miss having the local Bobby that people get to know, that shopkeepers and residents get to know. That must be a positive move.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, we're delighted that that's happening, and certainly in the past, when neighbourhood policing was a dominant thing, then it was valued highly, and having met Karen, absolutely delighted that she's going to be working and giving a face that folk can relate to and have confidence in.
You do have to make difficult decisions, don't you, Julian, about where you deploy your officers. Is Bedford a priority?
Bedford is my priority, yes. I'm responsible for the whole of Bedford Borough, so that's obviously Bedford and the villages around, and it is hard to make decisions, but we try and do so based on evidence and based on where we can best put the people that we've got.
Can you guarantee to the people of Bedford that you will be able to continue providing the policing that they're after?
Well, I mean, we do. I mean, I hate to say this, it's the get out above my pay grade. I mean, obviously, as all forces, we are facing financial tightening circumstances this time. But what I can guarantee is that every single person who works at Bedfordshire Police as an officer, as a PCSO, as a member of staff, and also all the many volunteers will guarantee that we can do the best we can for people, yes.
Steve, what else would you like? You must be satisfied with the introduction of this police officer, you just said. Anything else that you'd like the police to provide? Or are you happy with the way things are going?
I'm very happy with the way things are going. Obviously, one would always love for more. One officer and PCOs working with her, there's a limit to what they're able to do, but that's one step more than we had previously, so That's a delight.
Julian, it sounds like you've got a happy customer.
I've always liked to have happy customers.
Excellent stuff indeed. Well, thank you very much to both of you. Chief Inspector Julian Frost of Bedfordshire Police and Steve LePage, Chair of Midland Road Residents Association. They're going to have a local bobby, a copper, who'll kind of be assigned to that area, and we'll get to know all the shopkeepers and the residents if they want, and the people and stuff like that. That's kind of, I say old-fashioned, my tongue is slightly in my cheek, but it is an old-fashioned concept, isn't it? Would you like that where you live? Do you think that would make you feel a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more comfortable, having a police officer assigned to your area? It would be nice, wouldn't it? If it was one, I think I'd like that. One person, you know their name, you can go up to them. All right, Steve. All right, Karen. How you doing? Yeah, I just saw this fella down there. He looks a little bit dodgy. Blonde fella, microphone, shirt undone down to his navel. Go and have a word. Justin, what on earth is... Sorry, I'm slightly distracted during that interview. I apologise to our two guests. Because in the studio next door to me, Justin, who... he's not done any reporting this morning, as far as I'm aware. What's he doing, Catherine?
My computer's gone bump. So, he's been the repairman. He's fixed it. Well done. Just call me Treacle.
Can I just point out
that
I fixed it. I knew the problem.
Yeah.
I knew how to solve it.
Yeah, but Justin stole Paul Scoins' computer.
Right. What, from upstairs?
Yeah, and the screen's a little bit... If I'm going to be really fussy, the screen's a little bit on the lob there, but beggars can't be choosers, eh?
No, so you didn't fix it?
You can. You just need
Can I lower this?
You can restart that and then it will mend itself.
Does it have to be this high?
So is Justin... I'm confused. Is Justin reporting today, or is he just doing odd jobs?
We need to give him a mission, don't we?
Get some headies on, just come here. He's not. We've not. I'm not. I'm not having him do this. I'm not having him fix the computers next door, for goodness sakes. He's a pay. I'm not having this, mate. I'm not having you fix the computers next door when you should be out reporting.
Oh, it's Friday. It's Chill Out Friday.
No, it's not. It's not
Chill Out Friday.
Not Chill Out Friday. It's Friday. And
don't worry. I'm plotting. Okay, against BBC Northampton. That's what I'm doing. Okay. The raid. Oh, yes.
We're taking over the whole county, Northamptonshire, and therefore we will own BBC Radio Northampton.
The problem is with them up there, they just think they're it. Sadly, they're not.
And they're not.
No.
This is genuine. If you want to meet us in the car park straight after the show at 9:01, we will all march. How far away is Northampton?
It's about 45 minutes.
What, walking?
No, driving.
OK, well, we're all going to jump in mine and Justin's car, and we're going to drive up there, and we're going to take over the whole county, and then we're going to take over BBC Radio Northampton.
Yes.
And we're going to own it. We're going to give those people a slice of good radio.
We're going to give Bernie Keith and his dog a good slap this morning.
Is Bernie Keith the breakfast toast?
No, I think he's mid-morning.
OK, fine.
Yeah, we'll sort him out.
Anyway, listen, you're winning me over, but you've still not gone out and done any reporting.
Yes, what would you like, sir?
Let's have a little look.
Front page of the Sun today. How ridiculous is that?
For goodness sakes, if you've not seen it, so you describe it. Go on.
That is the state of news today. Bring me Sun Shrine. After the worst January rain in history, join our prayer campaign with the patron saint against bad weather. How ridiculous. That is the front page of Britain's best-selling newspaper, asking you to pray for good weather.
And we look at the Mail. Foxy Noxie is on there. Do we allowed to call a murderer Foxy Noxie? Police failing to stamp out honour crime, says The Times. Unions back Miliband's party revolution is the front page of the Indie. Guilty again, court reinstates Knox conviction of murder, and alarm over culture of disbelief of rape claims. That's The Guardian. And let's have a look at the Daily Telegraph. Marines inspect the floods. Where do we start? There are stories happening around the world, and the Sun have gone for that.
I know, it's incredible.
There we go. That's what you do. Can you take that onto the streets and get people's reaction? Maybe people will disagree with us and think that actually it's a worthy little bit of journalism.
On its week front page, come on.
If you turn to page 4 and 5 as well, they've got a couple of dolly birds.
I'm just getting past page 3. Okay, yep.
A couple of those two have had a row. A couple of dolly birds praying in a sexy fashion in a churchyard.
That's crazy.
And I use the word dolly birds. I wouldn't normally use that word, but that's exactly what those two women are. They're in tight Sun t-shirts and tight jeans, and they're praying in a sexy fashion.
I'm going to take this to the church and see what people think about this.
Excellent.
Yes,
that's really very quickly. Your show Saturday mornings 9 till 12. What's happening this weekend?
Yes, tomorrow 3 hours of great songs, great memories. We have the UK and American charts from this weekend back in 1974.
Yep.
On top of that, we're also going to be talking to somebody called Del Richardson, who's from Ossie Bisa. Massive hit back in 1975, Sunshine Day. Everybody do what you're doing. Sha-da-da-da, sunshine day.
Here we go.
Woo! Everybody, do what you're doing. Sha-da-da-da, sunshine day.
Yeah.
Everybody, do what you're doing. Da-da-da-da, sunshine day.
Wow, you got that guy on.
Yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Is there any chance that you might play this tomorrow?
Oh, Ray Parker Jr., absolutely, any excuse. It's 30 years, of course, Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Anniversary coming up.
Oh, play that, because we've not, because of you coming in, we've not had time to play that this morning, unfortunately.
Oh, right, OK.
So tomorrow, 9 till 12?
9 till 12, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'll take this out onto the streets now.
But please do, go on. Go and do some work. Don't try and fix anyone's computers on the way out. Just go.
Bye.
What's going on there?
What? Practicing.
What are you doing?
Beatles, 50 years.
Oh, it's 50 years since the Beatles.
Yeah, so we've got some. Da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-da. I thought we could do that. No?
No. Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, it turns out she's not there. There's stuff happening on the roads. Some places are clear, some places, not so clear. It's 7:30, it's BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the latest news and sport, followed by a little bit of banter, scripted, with Serena Farrow.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Labour Party in Luton's being accused of rigging the way councillors are chosen. It's claimed they're signing up friends as Labour Party members who'll then vote them back in. Elsewhere, only essential Sellafield staff are being asked to go to work today. The company says a monitor at the nuclear site has detected elevated levels of activity. More locally, a group of people, as we've just been hearing, living in Bedford met police bosses last night asking for increased policing. It comes after the fatal stabbing of Isaac Stone last weekend. And new figures show wide variations in the way police record and classify rape allegations. It's thought some areas where the number of recorded rapes is far lower than average, that victims may be unwilling to come forward because they feel they won't be believed. That's the news. Now let's move on to the sport.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Disappointing for Watford fans. They're now 16th in the Championship after losing 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. That's despite being 2 goals up at half-time. Meanwhile, Wycombe Wanderers' new striker Rhys Styke says he hopes to score the goals that'll keep the Chairboys in the Football League. They're now 2 places and 3 points above the League 2 relegation zone. That's ahead of tomorrow's trip to Bury. Yet, Styke says they're confident of avoiding that drop.
If we keep playing the way that we started, obviously against Mansfield in the first half and against Portsmouth on Tuesday night, I think we'll be fine. It's just taking them chances when they come. Hopefully there's a lot more to come from me when I get match fit.
Football transfer deadline day then, and it looks like a few Premier League sides are already busy. Manchester City want Porto de Fernando and Elquia Mangala set to cost them a combined fee of £50 million. Teenage midfielder Kurt Zouma may even be on his way to Chelsea. That's for £12 million. Cricket then, and England's women have lost their second 2020 game against Australia by 7 wickets, though they do actually lead the Ashes series 10-6. Finally, in tennis, Andy Murray will play the opening match of Great Britain's Davis Cup tennis tie against America. He'll face Donald Young. BBC Three Counties Radio, more from me, thankfully, at 8.
That was good, Serena.
Thanks.
Oh, what is your problem?
Do you see, have you actually feeling this, right? Do you get the hint that even the travel chick, yeah, she doesn't rock up because she's had enough of you?
Travel chick rocking up? What is this, 1976?
Yeah,
no.
She wasn't there, was she? You went to her and she's, I've had enough.
Right,
sorry,
listen.
She's packed her bag. She's off,
right,
mate.
Come on, Sleepy
Telling
Eyes. Just focus, all right? But the way I've been listening to a lot of radio recently, and what happens is...
You haven't learned much, though, have you? Do you know what I mean? You're still on that steep learning curve. It would appear. What
happens is the news presenter and the main...
Would that be me?
Well, not for much longer.
Right.
Where's Jane? And the news presenter and then the breakfast host...
Breakfast host? Is that your title, is it? Is that what you use on your CV? Stretching it a bit far, isn't it?
They have a little
Poetic licence.
They have a little bit of unscripted banter. Now, the unscripted banter didn't work.
Okay.
So
well, I mean, you are on the end of it.
The team... I'm just going to plough through this.
Do you think the BBC have... I know we have classes, don't we, in all sorts, master classes.
Do they have classes in you shutting up?
Do they have classes in bantering for presenters?
Catherine Boyle, the producer, has written a really good, powerful script, a little playlet, a little artsy.
Yeah, go on.
Have you not got the script in front of you?
Well, I've got... No.
Right.
This old pieces of paper
For
here.
8 o'clock, have the...
I like trees. I don't like to, print too much
out. What on earth are you rambling on about, you lunatic? For 8 o'clock, have the script in front of you, OK?
God, okay. That's another tree gone down the Swanee, hasn't it?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just struggling to develop a rapport with Serena. Back in the day, who was that? You used to do the news. It was you, Catherine.
Yeah, we used to get on then.
We had some great bands.
Oh, great bands.
Really great bands.
Didn't need it scripted either.
Didn't need it scripted.
Why don't we pretend to do that now?
So why don't you say that again into a microphone?
Why don't you pretend to do that now?
No, we're not going to. No, we're not going to.
Just relive the chemistry you once had.
No, that would be inappropriate. Yeah. What?
Can I just say it was really great of everybody to dress up today in the Beatles.
I am dressed up, but I'm just waiting to put the pièce de résistance on because I thought you might do this.
It's 50 years since the Beatles, guys. What are you doing to celebrate?
Ian's doing nothing.
What are you Catherine?
I've got a George Harrison moustache.
I hate girls with moustaches.
Good.
I'm not
doing it to impress you. Oh, hang on, take the plastic off.
This is really working well on the radio. Catherine Boyle is trying to affix a droopy Sgt. Pepper-style moustache to her upper lip.
I think that looks great.
Do you know what? What you need to do, take the headphones off and have the long Neil from the Young Ones' hair.
Yeah.
Look at that! Ladies and gentlemen, it's George Harrison. Picture of that, let's get that on Twitter.
Get a picture.
Happy 50 years since the Beatles. That is George Harrison.
I've got a wig if you want to join in.
I'm fine, thank you very much indeed. Jeffrey's in Windsor.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
To move the story on from All You Need Is Love, which is the philosophy of the Beatles, which hasn't really worked out in the world, unfortunately, to the world of justice and legality. I'm a bit upset, really, that the man who the courts have found guilty of killing, one of the men anyway, soldier Lee Rigby, by running him over when he was in, I think, probably civilian clothes, and then mutilating his body on the street, has appealed in the courts for a rehearing, essentially, on the basis of incorrect procedure in the trial.
Well, he claims, I've got this correct, he claims it was an act of war as opposed to murder.
Well, I was just talking to a friend about that. If it was an act of war, which army did he belong to? And if you've injured someone already so they're incapacitated on the street, it's in fact illegal, according to the Geneva Convention, then to mutilate their body.
Because no, that wasn't the question. Why are you angry about it?
Pardon? Why am I angry about it? I just think it's a...
You said you were angry about it.
No, I wanted to talk about it because the Beatles' philosophy of all you need is love.
It was one of their songs. I don't know if it was their philosophy.
Well, they went out to that Indian Swami out to learn about transcendental meditation,
which I practice.
Yeah, and a man called John Lennon said, "We are bigger than God." I don't know if you remember him saying that.
No, he didn't say that.
Or bigger than Jesus Christ, then.
Didn't say that.
What did he say then?
He said we're more popular than Jesus, which at the time was true.
Sorry.
How many number ones did Jesus have?
Well, he's number one all the time.
What he was saying, he didn't. This is the thing, you see. What he was saying was he said we're more popular than Jesus, in as much as the Beatles were massive, and at the time a lot of people were turning away from Christianity. Well,
I think they were re-examining the roots of Christianity and the practice of Christianity as it was in the 1950s, 1960s. A lot of people have gone through that spiritual process because Christianity has to be to some extent relevant to the age. But anyway, moving on, John Lennon, of course, was shot dead by another murderer in New York.
Where is this? This is. I mean, Jeffrey, you're pretty rambling most of the time.
I'm talking about.
But today you're even more rambling than normal. What on earth are you talking about? What's this got to do with Lee Rigby or All You Need Is Love or anything like that?
No. What I'm saying is the 1960s positivism has failed. We now live in the reality of the modern world, in which terrorism plays a vast part, in which we're now frightened about going to
He's quite... Shall I read you his quote?
Yeah, whose?
John Lennon. It's quite.
No, we've done that. We're talking about the contemporary issue of the murder of Lee Rigby.
He's quite prophetic.
The murder of Lee Rigby.
We'll get
the murder of Lee Rigby.
Well, you can keep saying that, and we'll get to that in a second. You brought up John Lennon and saying he was bigger than God, which he didn't.
I'm trying to do connection.
Christianity will go, Lennon said. It will vanish and shrink. I needn't argue about that. I'm right, and I'll be proved right.
He hasn't been, has he?
Well, he has, because Christianity is shrinking to... There was a story about a month ago...
expanding in Africa.
Jeffrey, listen.
Go and listen yourself.
Jeffrey, there was a story a couple of months ago that within a generation, Christianity will be dead in this country. That's been said by high-up officials in the church. So, very prophetic. I'm right, I'll be proved right. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity.
But rock and roll's gone.
Jesus... Well,
listen to Radio 1. It's rap. It's all rap.
Well, he said, Jeffrey, he didn't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity.
Well, his rock and roll went first, and rock and roll went first.
So he said, I don't know which will go first.
I said...
Jesus was all right, but his disciples were thick and ordinary. It's them twisting it that ruins it for me. So he's spot on, pretty much. Christianity, it will vanish and shrink.
No, he made a statement in the 1960s at the height of Beatles' popularity, when the media were constantly focusing on them because it sold, like you're doing now, it sold a lot of stories, and his marriage failed Yoko Ono, so much so that he had to write songs about it. He became a drunkard, and in the end he got shot dead by a lunatic outside a very, very expensive New York apartment.
What a sad story.
Because he said a working class hero is something to be.
Yeah,
a working class hero is something to be.
It's a sad story, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
His marriage to Yoko didn't fail.
Well, it had huge problems,
which they resolved. Lots of marriages have that, and he resolved, and I think that's a testament.
Well, I don't know if that's true. But that's the point. Going back to Lee Rigby's murder.
Yes, okay, yes.
Lee Rigby's murder. If, as I say once again, it's evidentially factual that the man was knocked down the street by those two individuals, who then took out hand weapons.
Yeah, we know what happened, Jeffrey.
Yeah. So why is court time and why is taxpayers' time now going to be allowed to be wasted on the basis of a man appealing on the semantics of whether he was a warrior, a non-warrior, a terrorist, a guerrilla? But all it boils down to is that he murdered the guy without warning.
Right.
And if you injure someone in a war and that they are then at your mercy, and then you proceed to execute them on the battlefield, as Sergeant Marine, whatever his name was, found out, it's against the Geneva Convention, and he should be locked up for that anyway.
OK, but he's appealing, which the British law...
Well, it's not very appealing to me.
Oh dear, Jeffrey, come on now. You can do much better than that. Although, judging by the quality of this phone call, perhaps not. He's appealing, and the beauty of the British system... Is
it waste taxpayers' money?
The beauty of the British system is that people can appeal if they feel they've been unfairly treated. And that has to apply to everybody, whether you like them or whether you don't like them.
There's no automatic right of appeal. You can make an application for appeal.
Okay.
It will not be automatically granted. It'll be looked at by a senior judge.
Okay, and what's happening here?
Well, that's what's happening. That's the process that's going on at the moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, man, I didn't realise. Hello?
Who's that?
Hello?
Who's that, Jeffrey?
Oh, someone interfering.
Is that your dad?
No, my father's 88 years old, very ill in Suffolk.
So it's not your dad?
No, it's a fellow worker.
OK. Yeah. Well, maybe you should get back to work then, Jeffrey.
No,
up the workers.
Amanda Cox, is she going to appeal as well?
Oh, for goodness. Amanda Cox. Oh, dear. I mean... Even by his own rambling standards, that was all over the shop. How did we go from the Beatles to the Lee Rigby to Amanda Cox? I think he means Amanda Knox. That's the beauty of the British system, that you can appeal. That's the beauty of it, and it's also the flaw of it. You see, right or wrong, the fella is applying for appeal. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, I've just tweeted it's 50 years since the Beatles. What are you doing to celebrate? Lots of answers. Someone says nothing, I'm going to work. Tiles says I'm listening to The Who. Design Fault says possibly one of the most overrated groups ever. 3 or 4 quite good songs. The Monkees were better. Nick Wallace says listening to Hair. Dan says, I'm watching Postman Pat with my daughter. The theme tune is better than anything the Fab Four did. Although this is special delivery service, so it's not as good. Special delivery service. It's got a helicopter in it. Don't give Pat a helicopter, for goodness sakes. Teaspoon River Neck says, I'm chomping on a banana. And Stuart Smith says, 50 years since the Beatles what? Well, 50 years since the Beatles, but I don't understand. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. As you've heard there from Jeffrey, you can call in about pretty much anything. We're talking about bits and pieces. Have you seen the front page of The Sun? It's very odd. It's Britain's biggest selling newspaper. And with all these big stories that are going on, the front page of The Sun are asking us to pray. It's kind of a similar front page to when they had Uri Geller on. He was on the front page. He was going to get us to win the World Cup or stop Big Ben or bend a spoon or something. And that was their front page then. Today they want us to pray to stop the rain. Really? That's the front page of Britain's biggest selling newspaper? Doesn't that relegate it to the level of a CBeebies comic? Mr. Maker, the summer special, doesn't it? It's pretty poor. Or am I just being a miserable old so-and-so? There's a surprise. Give me a call if you've seen it. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. It's coming up to 7:45. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's try and get the latest travel news.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. In High Wycombe, Naves Beach Way is partly blocked because of an accident just at the M40 London Road. It's just on the roundabout there, and it's people are going to be helping out there shortly. Major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between Junction 10A Kidney Wood roundabout and Junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. So that will affect you if you're planning to go to Luton Airport this morning. Exchange Road is busy at the moment in Watford. Also queues on the A1 heading southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. That's at Boreham Wood. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kate, thanks very much. Right, it's nearly 7:46. It's Friday, the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. It's claimed the Labour Party in Luton are signing up friends as members who'll vote them back in. Only essential Sellafield staff are being asked to go to work today. A monitor at the nuclear site has detected high levels of activity. Ouch. And in sport, Watford are now 16th in the Championship after losing 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. Coming up, we'll be talking about a car in a house. What? Yes. More after the weather with Sarah Thornton.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much indeed. Good morning to you. A chilly start this morning. Some mist and fog patches around right across the three counties too. So it is a slow start to your day, but a dry one. Having said that, we've got to contend with the fog this morning. On your way home for rush hour this evening, we'll be contending with some very heavy rain and some strong winds. So either way, things to watch out for. We'll keep dry really for the next few hours. A couple of showers here and there potentially. By lunchtime, just knocking on the door towards the west, some much thicker cloud bringing us some rain. Looks like it'll be with most of us by about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, and then with us right the way through until the early hours of tomorrow morning. Before that, a top temperature, we're at 2 degrees at the moment, not getting much higher than 5 or 6 Celsius. And then actually as that rain comes through towards midnight, the temperature's lifting a little, but it will be wet and windy, as I say, until the early hours of tomorrow morning. Behind it for tomorrow, watch out for some ice patches and sheltered spots because the temperature's again falling close to freezing overnight after that rain. We'll have some brightness first thing tomorrow, some showers though to come through in the afternoon, and the wind increasing all the time, gusts of 40, maybe 50 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then that all calms down, the winds ease for Sunday. Will be dry and bright with some good spells of sunshine in the afternoon and highs of 8 degrees. And that's your weather.
Thank you very much.
After a packed few days of football,
it's a great free kick from that far side at the terrace end. Taylor steps up, slots it the other way.
We'll bring you another 5 matches this weekend.
It's going to be 2-0. It's a very good goal.
Tomorrow you can hear MK Dons, Stevenage, Wycombe and Luton all in league action.
And Andre Gray scores a hat-trick. It's 3-0 to Luton.
Followed on Sunday by Watford at home to Brighton.
Great move from the Hornets.
A weekend of live football starts tomorrow afternoon from 2 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555. Now, I think we've got pictures of this incident. We put these on the Facebook page. Yeah, you go to facebook.com/BBC3CR. You will see the most incredible pictures. The most incredible pictures. A Hertfordshire family have been left to live with a car in their house. And when I say in their house, I mean in their kitchen. Josie and Tony Poole came home from their holiday to find their neighbour had Josie, tell us exactly what happened.
Well, we came home to find that the lady over the road's car was sitting in the front of our kitchen.
Flippin' heck. I mean, I'm looking at the pictures now. It's Where had you been on holiday?
We went to Fuerteventura.
Oh, lovely. How long have you been there for?
It was just a week.
OK, so you went there for a week. Lovely, relaxing, fantastic week. And then, you come home, you pull up in the car, you pull up in the taxi.
Well, no, we were told about it.
Oh, OK.
We did know.
So you got a phone call on holiday, did you?
Yes, we did.
And what was your reaction?
I think stunned. You laugh, you think it's funny.
Yeah, you have to laugh, don't you, at something like this?
You do.
When you came home and saw it, was it as bad as you thought, worse than you thought?
My son had described it very well.
OK.
Yeah.
Let me try and describe it. So is it? It looks like. Is it a bungalow? Your house?
It is.
Okay, so it's a bungalow, and at the front, well, half of the property is kind of boarded up, and there is a red car. Half of it, just under half of it, is backed up into the house.
Yeah.
And you can see in the kitchen's gone. You've got rods holding the ceiling up, and the kitchen's pretty gone, isn't it?
Everything's gone. Yes. Yeah, because the car came in backwards and hit the back of the cooker, which was a large cooker, which has taken out half the sink, it's taken out everything, because it went through the gas main, the water main.
Oh, dear.
So.
And your son, Nick, he was at home when it happened?
Well, he came to cat sit for me, yes, so they didn't have to go to a cattery.
Yes.
But they'd ended up in a cattery anyway.
Oh, and he must have got the shock. Was he in the house when it happened?
He just walked into the lounge. He'd have been standing in front of the cooker.
Oh, dear.
He's quite traumatised by it. I mean, it was a very close thing, I think, really.
He must have been terrified, as you would be. And also, what a noise that must have made.
He said it sounded like a plane landing.
How did it happen, Josie?
Well, I went over and saw the lady yesterday that lives over the road, and she just said she had actually got it in the garage. She said there's skid marks on the ground in the garage because she was putting it into just to park it in her garage, as she does often, and the engine just started to rev and rev and rev. So she was putting it into park, but someone was telling me that as you put it into park, you have to go past drive or something.
Yeah.
Or reverse. And it just shot backwards. And her husband that was standing in the front garden, because she'd just come home, and he said it was just split seconds. 1 minute he was just waiting for her to get out the car, and the next minute she was backed up into our kitchen.
She must have been going at some speed.
It must have done.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us can... And she is very traumatised. I mean, I don't think she can't work it out.
You angry with her, Josie?
No.
No. That's very noble of you.
You can't, can you? I suppose it's just an accident.
So are you able to live in the house, or have you had to kind of move out?
They did offer us accommodation, but we've decided we'd rather stay here.
Okay. Is it safe to stay there? You've got those rods holding up the kitchen?
It's just that bit.
Right, okay.
So if we stay away from that bit, and we sort of set ourselves the kitchen up in the conservatory at the back.
Okay.
It's a bit like living in a goldfish bowl, but...
And what happens next? Have you got insurance companies arguing over who's responsible?
No, nobody's arguing.
Right.
We've had an assessor out. He's been, and he came yesterday. The only thing is it takes a while because of getting all the plans done. Someone's got to do the plans to show whether it's safe when they take the car out.
Oh, right, okay,
because there's no beams in those parts of the walls.
Yeah.
It's all got to be shored up, so they can't do anything to get this car out until they've got plans drawn up.
Have they given you any time frame for this?
Well, hopefully the car will disappear within the next few days.
Right.
I hope so, because then we can board the house completely up. But
Well, Josie, listen, hopefully it'll get sorted out soon.
Thank you.
And then you've got a cracking story for the kids and the grandkids at some point.
Well, they've all had to come and have a good look.
Yeah, have you got grandkids?
Yeah, I've got 4.
How old are they?
2 at 14, 1 at 5,
I bet
and a 6-month-old.
I bet they've loved this, haven't they?
My youngest grandson yesterday took photos to show and tell at school. He was so excited.
Well, I know how important show and tell is to the kids, and if they've got something that's not, the normal, then they are kings for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, OK. Well, there's some small positive has come out of that.
Yeah.
Josie, lovely to talk to you. I wish you the best of luck sorting it all out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. If you want to go and look at the pictures, incredible. Facebook.com/BBC 3CR. Now, we've been talking about this this morning. Members of the Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way that councillors are chosen. It's being claimed, and we'll talk about this more after 8 o'clock, being claimed that people are being signed up as Labour Party members who shouldn't. Children, people who don't live in the town, and people who don't even know they've been signed up. Paul's in Leighton Buzzard. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Ian.
What would you like to say, Paul?
Well, Ian, I'm surprised your phone lines haven't been red hot, because anyone that values democracy must be concerned what's happening in Luton.
Tell me why it concerns you, Paul.
Why? Well, I believe in democracy. I believe in, one man, one vote. But that vote must be placed fair. It must be done fairly. We've heard over the recent years about postal voting, problems in areas like Birmingham and in the north. And it mainly centres all around the ethnic population. And I think this is a classic case of the Labour Party inflicting, self-inflicting wounds.
Now, these are all allegations at the moment, and we'll be taking some more guests after this.
Yes.
But if this is true, Paul,
yes,
you think this really gets to the heart of the democratic process?
Absolutely, Ian. Absolutely. I mean, it makes a farce. Those of us that turn out, every time there's election, no matter what type of election, places of vote, you begin to wonder, well, what's the purpose of voting?
Paul, are you a member of a political party?
No.
You're just a concerned citizen?
Absolutely. And as I say, I don't want to bring parties or politics into it so much, Ian, but it's ironic, really, that it was admitted by a senior member of the Labour Party that they opened the door to immigration, because in the hope, one of the hopes of, apart from cheap labour, but one of the wishes being that they...
I'm not quite sure what immigration has to do with this.
Because they felt that that immigrants were more likely to vote Labour than for any other party.
OK, I think we're going off on a slight tangent there.
I should say as well, Ian, that...
Paul Scoynes, political reporter, joining me in the studio.
Sorry, the allegations from some of the... people, including the councillor Hanif, that we spoke to earlier on, that actually this isn't constrained to the Labour Party. This is a problem that all parties face.
This is the thing, and I think that we're talking about the Labour Party at the moment, but I would be very surprised if this is happening in the Labour Party in one place. I'd be very surprised if this wasn't happening for other parties in other areas. It would seem that's probably pretty obvious.
I understand that there are at least 20 other areas in the country which have been put into special measures, as we spoke to, just by Labour alone. But as Yaqub said to me in conversations we had before this morning, that he understands that this is a problem not just for the Labour but for the Lib Dems, the Conservatives to a certain degree as well. So actually, there is perhaps a need, if these allegations are proven, that parties might have to look a bit more closely at how they structure their membership, how they select their candidates.
Well, we'll be speaking to Gavin Shuker and Kelvin Hopkins just after 8 o'clock. Paul, thank you very much for that. And if you want to, Paul said, I'm surprised your phone lines aren't red hot. It's the only call we've had on it. I guess, Paul, it's one of those things that people kind of think, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. But it does, doesn't it, if we broaden it out?
Ultimately, these are the people you are voting for. So how they're selected is important to a certain degree. And now the Labour Party have said that they are happy that their selection process is fair and that they say any other suggestion otherwise is wrong. Now, that's certainly at odds with what other senior people in the party are saying to us. So it does seem to be certainly questionable, and certainly that it warrants a further look at it. But absolutely, I mean, ultimately, these are the people you end up voting for at the ballot box in your council elections. And what we've been told this morning is that ultimately this potentially impacts on your general elections as well.
Oh, thank you. More of that coming up just after 8 o'clock. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello. In High Wycombe, Knaves Beach Way is partly blocked because of an accident just at the A40 London Road. It's on the roundabout there. Major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between Junction 10A, Kidneywood Roundabout, and Junction 10, Luton Airport Spur Road. That will affect you if you're travelling to or from Luton Airport this morning. And the Exchange Road in Watford is busy at the moment, just around Beecham Grove. Also queuing at Boreham Wood on the A1 southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Kate. Right, more in the last hour of the show, including the ridiculous front page of The Sun. Really, is that the best they can do? And also more of this alleged goings-on in Luton. 08459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines. Labour Party accused of vote rigging. Bedford made safer and the cost of living goes up.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A Labour councillor says vote rigging has been going on for years in his party in Luton. Some members are being accused of signing up friends who'll then vote them back in. Well, Yaqub Anif is a Labour councillor for the Round Green ward in the town. He's seen this happening. He says the democratic process is non-existent and says it's been made difficult to identify.
Memberships of the Labour Party itself are handled at a national level. So you join, your membership is registered in London and then it's passed down locally, whereas before memberships used to be handled and dealt with purely on a local basis so you could manage that.
However, we've heard from the Labour Party in the East who say they're satisfied its selections are being carried out properly and that any suggestions otherwise are wrong. Meanwhile, measures have been put in place to put people's minds at rest in Bedford following the fatal stabbing last weekend. A group of locals met police bosses last night asking for an increased presence, especially in Midland Road. Chief Inspector Julian Frost, who was at that meeting, says improvements have already been made.
We have got extra police officers on this weekend and my PCSO team are spending a lot of their extra time. But actually, in the Midland Road and Town Centre areas, I've just brought a PC in to work alongside my PCSO team.
And we'll have more on this story with Iain Lee here on BBC Three Counties Radio coming up in the next hour. Now, police say they need the public's help following 2 deaths on the M1 in Hertfordshire. A driver was killed between junctions 5 and 6 yesterday morning after stopping his vehicle to help a man who'd fallen from a bridge. PC Rupert Gadd says they need other drivers to come forward.
We're happy to talk to anybody that may have seen something either before, during or after the incident, however small the details are.
An economic think tank says living standards are still dramatically down on what they were before the financial crisis started in 2008. The Institute for Fiscal Studies found all households had seen their income squeezed because of a decline in real earnings, but poorer families had been hit hardest by rising prices. So, a family from Royston are now living in a partially demolished house after a neighbour reversed her car into their newly built kitchen. Josie and Tony Paul from Garden Close were on holiday at the time in the Canary Islands when they actually heard what had happened. Josie says it could have been much worse, though.
And we spend a lot of time in the kitchen. That's why it was done the way it was, so that it was... You could all spend time in it. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's salvageable at all.
Moving on to sport, and Watford let a first-half goal slip to lose 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night. Gabrielle Angela Brace looked to have given the Hornets all 3 points at half-time, but then 4 goals came blasting in from Forest. Weather then, it's going to be dry, some bright spells around as well, temperatures topping 8 degrees Celsius. Get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
That was good, Serena.
Oh, we have to do this again, don't we? OK, Oh, I don't know. I think I can do better.
Really? How on earth could you top such a quality bulletin?
Well, I can do accents, apparently. Other than this one, which I think is supposed to be Yorkshire, how about if I do the weather in, let's say, Dutch?
Well, I suspect that might be inappropriate and a little offensive, but go on then.
Super! And this is where I read the weather. We start the day brightly. No, that's Irish, isn't it, Ma? We got the windy doppelganger, temperatures 8 degrees. Does that sound a bit Dutchish?
Wowzers. In your face, BBC Radio Northampton, huh? We're coming. After the show, we're coming for you. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Lots to talk about in the last hour of the show, including accusations of vote rigging in Luton, attempts at reassurance in Bedford, and we'll find out exactly what Justin Dealey has been out and about doing this morning. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. If you want to send me a text, 81333, start your text 3CR, or give me a call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, members of the Labour Party in Luton are being accused of rigging the way that councillors are chosen. It's being claimed that people are being signed up as Labour Party members who shouldn't, including children, people who don't live in the town, and some even being signed up to the party without their knowledge. Well, the accusations have come to light after long-serving councillor Robin Harris was voted out of his council seat after 20 years in the job. Earlier on, Councillor Yaqub Hanif told me that people alleged to be doing this aren't doing it for the good of the party.
Well, the benefit or the motivation behind this is it's power, prestige, and a position of authority to influence decisions, locally. And then some people try to, use this as a way to influence in parliamentary selections as well. You will see at the annual general meeting where the chair and all that, you will have 70 or 80 people turn up. A few weeks down the line, only a dozen people turn up. It's not serving us properly.
Well, the two Labour MPs for Luton join me in the studio now. We've got Gavin Shukert, Luton South, Kelvin Hopkins, Luton North. Thank you very much for coming in this morning. Gavin, let's start with you. What is it that's alleged to be happening?
Well, the concern here is that individuals are signing up friends, family and otherwise in order to control the outcomes of selections at a ward level. But of course, at a ward level, that's kind of the level at which you have your local councillors. It's not just who gets selected as local councillors that's affected, has a knock-on further up into the party and can even work to challenge the democratic processes that are going on at a constituency level and at a town level as well.
So there will be people listening going, this doesn't affect me. But actually, it does, doesn't it? This is significant.
Well, the reality of politics in Luton in particular is that in many wards, we take nothing for granted, but they've had historically a series of Labour councillors. So really what's going on in that process is you're selecting the people that are ultimately going to end up being your local councillor, involved in local democracy at the council level, and also making major decisions about budgets and otherwise, which is why it's such a concern.
Kelvin, who's benefiting from this?
Well, I suppose it's the individuals concerned, and I've always operated on a basis of democracy. I mean, I'm in politics because I believe in certain things, and I stand on those beliefs and those principles and hope to be supported for that. But if people have got other motives, then obviously it's rather worrying, especially as we're supposed to be representing people. But this is, of course, isn't a new phenomenon in the party. I mean, if you go back 40 years, Islington North, there was an MP who was selected because he signed up hundreds of his mates. Eventually my good friend Jeremy Corbyn beat him and became selected and became a proper democratic MP, and he's been the MP for the last 30 years. So it's not a new phenomenon, and my personal view is that we've got to look at the party's rules to make sure we clean up this sort of thing.
I was going to ask, is it illegal or is it just immoral?
Well, it's certainly not illegal. I mean, if it was illegal, obviously, there could be the law could be called in. I just think it's taking advantage of rather lax party rules, and I would want to see much tighter rules so that we make sure that the party selections are really democratic, and we get the best candidate for the local people as well as a good representative of the party.
Kevin, how has this affected you personally? You came close to losing your selection, didn't you?
Yeah, in the most recent trigger ballot process, it's whereby local party members try and decide who they want to be their candidate next time round. Slightly different if you're a sitting MP. I lost 3 out of my 7 branches. And I could have told you you those 3 that I was going to lose probably a year or 2 years out, just purely by looking at the membership list. What you're seeing in some of those wards is people specifically being signed up with the motivation of affecting the outcome of selections, including my own, and actually within that, some incredible abuses, such as 14 people being signed up in one single day in one single ward across 3 wards in my seat across the town. There have been 17 of these occurrences where you've had more than 4 people signed up in a day, which is highly unusual activity, and a reason why the local officers have been trying to take action.
The reason I ask about that is because some people might sense a self-interest, a personal interest in you speaking out about this because you have been personally affected.
Well, I think it's right for people to speak out where they see wrongdoing, and it's I have to say, I was selected in 2010, my first job in politics, and seeing what's happened since that point, essentially membership in my own party in that period of time has probably about doubled. To give you an idea of the scale of it, there's been one ward in the town where the membership's gone up to, say, 500 people. That's bigger than most constituency parties on their own. So this is a really extreme version of the thing that Kelvin's talking about, and it's right to speak out about it.
Kelvin, have you spoken to the National Party about this?
I'm planning now to write to the General Secretary, because I've long thought that the rules are too lax, and I'm going to write to the General Secretary. One simple thing I think we could do is that people should, being a member of the party is a privilege and a responsibility, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. If somebody had to be a member for, say, 4 years before they were allowed to participate, either as a candidate or as a voter in selecting candidates, I think that would be a step forward. But there are other thoughts I have too.
We'll come to the second. Gavin, have you spoken to the party about this?
Yeah, I've raised this at pretty much every single level.
What do they say?
Well, I think the party this morning have said something that's actually factually correct.
Shall I read the statement?
Yeah, sure.
We did ask senior leadership of the party in Luton. They've declined to come on. But an East of England Labour Party spokesperson said, the Labour Party is determined to ensure that every Labour candidate is selected in an open, transparent and fair way. We are satisfied that all our selections are being carried out properly, and any suggestions otherwise are wrong.
Well, this is the point, isn't it? You can say the selections are being carried out properly, but before you even got to that selection point, the membership has been packed to the point whereby you can predict the outcome. It's a bit like a football match where someone's tipped the pitch through 30 degrees. You go out and play it, and the referee says that he's run it by the rules, but the other team gets 100 goals. You've got to look at the outcomes as well as what's going on in the process.
So, Kelvin, what suggestions would you have to improve this?
Well, as I say, longer-term membership, I think, is one. If individuals, when they join the party, had to bring their application form and their subscription along to a constituency party officer and sign up individually as a person, with evidence that they should pay the lower rate of membership subscription, for example. So if they were a pensioner or unemployed, they had to show evidence of that so that they could pay the lower subscription rate. All sorts of minor things that look very minor, but would make a real difference in the long run, I think. And the party's absolutely right, of course. No rules have been broken.
Right.
It's the rules that are wrong, in my view.
Gavin, do you worry that people will lose faith in the party and in politics in general?
I do, and I speak as someone that took on a very difficult job from my predecessor, who was, of course, caught up in the expenses scandal, real lack of trust in politics. And what I've tried to do in the last 4 years is try and restore something of that locally. The point is, we've got to... Actually, through doing that, we've got to this point where membership sacking has really got out of control, and so it's right to speak out about it. My concern would be that people will look at us as a party and say, you've learnt none of the lessons of what had happened before, you've not listened to the right people who've been raising this at every single level of the party, and they'll look to punish us for it. And if they do that, I'll understand it.
Paul Scoynes, political reporter, joins us now. Paul, we've had some texts in. First one, Jake Harris. Sounds like the local politicians are trying hard to be honest and get their house in order. There you go, it's a good one. The bigwigs in the party are worried about creating a bad impression, but it seems to me they're creating the bad impression by trying to shut it down. Makes me so mad. And, Paul, this is one for you. This is from Steve. I think it's time for open primaries. I've been impressed with the Tory MP who was selected this way. How exactly would that work?
Well, that's interesting, because that happened recently in Cambridgeshire, and there was some slight controversy over that as well, where the party, through the sort of selection process, opened a bit more widely. A candidate was selected, and then it transpired that the candidate who was selected didn't get as many votes as the other candidate, who was actually from St Albans. they had another meeting about it, and then decided that actually they should go with what was originally decided. So there are problems that way as well. That's a far more American model, I understand, as well, of how people are selected.
Gavin, what would you like to see done? What do you want the Labour Party to do?
Well, we're going through a series of local selections at the moment for who will get to be candidates and then councillors in 2015. Same day, actually, we go to the general election to be elected, hopefully. I think what we need to do is put additional scrutiny on that process. We have a series of selections coming up. There is the opportunity in wards that have been stacked for those people to turn out their people and to try and influence the outcome. Now, my call is pretty straightforward. Don't do that. Don't do that.
They're not going to listen to that, though, are they? If they're determined...
I suspect you're probably right.
Yeah.
And in the process, if that happens, we'll lose some very good local councillors and we'll end up in the situation where you've got some people that are there purely because they went out and signed up people. That is a major concern.
That's a pretty bleak outlook, if that's the case. And there's nothing that can be done to stop it.
Well, what... sorry, Calvin.
I just have to say, the majority of the candidates chosen in the town, are fine people. There's not a problem there. Most of the boards have done it, selected their candidates in a very sensible way. But we're talking about a minority of areas. But I have to, can I just say about open primaries, I think that would just exacerbate the problem. Right. I don't think open primaries are the way forward. What we want to have is parties that represent slightly different philosophies, so that we can say these are people who represent the Labour philosophy, those are that represent the Conservative, Liberal Democrat, whatever. If you have open primaries, you can finish up with a mishmash of candidates who are all essentially very local, but not saying very much different things from each other. So, I think the parties should choose people who stand up for the principles that the party has historically adhered to.
It's a fascinating story. We should be following this as interest. Kelvin, I hope you don't mind me mentioning, but you've broken your foot, is that correct?
Well, it's the fibula in my leg, actually.
You've come in with a cast. Yeah. You've come in with the most amazing contraption. Honestly, I've never seen... What is it?
It's called a knee trolley, and it's the most brilliant invention I've ever seen, quite frankly.
Basically, you rest your knee on it and kind of wheel yourself along.
It's like a mini shopping trolley going backwards. And you hold a handle with one hand, and you can hold your cup of tea or even your glass of wine in the other.
Oh, I see. I've never seen anything like it. I appreciate you coming in with your equipment and everything. Kelvin Hopkins, Luton North, Gavin Shuker, Luton South, both two Labour MPs. Thank you very much indeed for your time. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. It's 8:15, BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the latest travel news.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. In High Wycombe, Knaves Beach Way is partly blocked because of an accident involving a car and a moped just on the roundabout there at the A40 London Road. It's looking slow on the M25 heading anti-clockwise between junction 16 for the M40 and junction 15 for the M4. Just looking on the sensors to find that information out for you. And there are also major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between junction 10A Kidneywood Roundabout and junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. Also queues just at Boreham Wood on the A1 southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kate, thank you very much. 8:16. It's Friday, the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A Labour councillor says vote rigging has been going on for years in his party in Luton. Extra police are now working in Bedford following the fatal stabbing last weekend. And on football transfer deadline day, Fernando and another gentleman who I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name may be on their way to Manchester City for a combined fee of £50 million.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every Saturday from midday, it's all about the food.
It's like a disco on your tongue there. It's fantastic.
Local chefs showcasing simple, straightforward dishes you can try at home.
Well, it's a dish which has been around since the 18th century.
I can imagine it hot with ice cream and almost put in an ice cream. That'd be nice.
This is a thick, heavy, lovely, cloying comfort food of a dessert.
All mixed in with amazing stories and great music.
I tell you what, that takes me back to my childhood, that pudding. That just transported me back to being a kid.
Nick Coffer's Weekend Kitchen, Saturdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, I'm glad you like this shirt today.
Where are your shoes?
Taking my shoes off. They're new shoes and they hurt a bit.
I can see they're new, aren't they?
Now, listen, they've created real debate amongst the office staff.
What, those shoes?
Yes.
I can see. Can I see them up close? Can I?
You certainly can.
Could you? I'm quite a lover of good quality shoes.
I went shopping for some clothes with... Sorry?
Well, I've looked at the sole, first of all.
They've had a new sole fitted because they were smooth and I needed them for a shiny television studio.
Right.
So I had to have a new sole with grip fitted.
Yes.
I went shopping with a young lad. 26-year-old man called Lucas.
Right.
Yes. He took me shopping for some clothes.
Why would you do this with a 26-year-old?
Why not? It was for a TV show, and it was like the old days. They took me out and they bought me clothes.
Oh,
and
bless.
Lucas, my stylist, took me out. Now,
stylist.
I said, Lucas,
right.
I am 40. I will not dress any younger than 36. I think he dressed me a little bit younger than 36. Catherine hates the clothes.
I think I could have done a better job, frankly.
Okay. But the shoes...
They put him in a skinny... Oh, Jonathan, imagine this. A skinny fit jumper.
He offered
those awful shoes. He offered, like a Mr. Man threw up.
He offered me a girdle. I didn't wear the girdle. What do you think about the shoes? They're tritone brogues.
Yes, they are. Now, you see, I know you've been talking quite a lot about Northamptonshire.
Yes, we're coming to take you today, Northamptonshire.
Northamptonshire is the home of good quality shoes. Yep. They make the best shoes in the world in Northamptonshire.
I look forward to that when I'm king.
And they make good quality versions of these.
Oh, you rude...
No.
You cheeky...
If you were to go to Church's, Cheney's... Any of those makers, they would make a very good quality, classier looking version of that shoe.
Oh, how rude. Jim Davidson told me he liked these shoes.
Well, say no more.
He's obviously still being nice.
Yeah, you can go away. You can go away as well. Do you want to do this or not?
Are you offended?
Should I turn your microphone back on?
Yeah, go on.
Quickly, and go.
Are you offended?
Quickly and go.
Coming up on the big phone in this morning. Oh, it's a bit awkward. On this morning's big phone in, would you advise today's teenagers to go to university? The number of people applying to go to university has increased by 4% since last year. 580,000 people have applied to start courses this September, as compared with 559,000 in 2013. In total, 35% of 18-year-olds in England have now applied to go to university. Well, of course, it's costing more than ever before. So from 9 this morning, I want your views on this. Would you advise today's teenagers to go to university? 08459 455 555 and your shoes are horrible.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
I'll ask Ollie Martins, a man of taste.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
How rude. I mean, seriously, and Catherine, you'll know better.
Really, I'm just being honest. I'm saying it as a friend. They're horrible.
Do you like these ones better?
That's not really the answer, is it? Come on.
Thank you, Catherine. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you wish to give us a call. It's one of those shows. It's got fiery, it's got feisty today, as it often happens. Deary, deary me. Never mind. Here comes my next guest. Kelly, if you give me that, and I'll start the proceedings. Thank you very much indeed. Morning. Now, last night, the Police and Crime Commissioner for Bedfordshire, Ollie Martins, attended the Midland Road Residents Association meeting to talk through concerns on safety. Well, earlier in the week, people living around Midland Road told this programme the area had become a no-go. The ill feeling increased after the fatal stabbing of teenager Isaac Stone last weekend. Well, Ollie Martins has just joined me in the studio now to talk us through some of the concerns. Morning, Ollie.
Morning, Ian.
I want to start by playing you a little bit of audio. Here's what some of the residents around Midland Road area told our reporter Tony Fisher following the murder at the weekend. Have a listen to this.
I'll tell you what, I've been stabbed 3 years ago, you know. And my friend's been dying here on this road, yeah. 3 years ago, he's been stabbed same to death, yeah.
On Midland Road?
Yeah, Midland Road, yeah. Few years ago, yeah. So this road, I don't know why, always is someone dying on this road. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's crazy, you know.
Anything that could be done about Midland Road?
More policing. There don't seem to be any police about anymore like there used to be. And I think that has a big effect on the area. I'm sure if there were police about, a lot of this wouldn't happen, but... It's one of these areas, it's one of these places. It's always been suspect to sort of crimes and things like that, so...
Are you happy with your daughter living just off this road?
No. But it's just got worse. I'm terrified to walk anywhere, you know, when it gets dark. It frightens me sometimes, I must admit, walking down here.
I don't know, it's just the way this road is. It's always been like that. How can you change something that's always been the same?
Ollie Martins, what do you make of those statements?
Well, I think something like a murder happening on a busy street in Bedford is clearly a very shocking incident, and it's clearly going to heighten people's fear of crime. But I think it's clear from the meeting last night that actually you've got quite a resilient community there, and yes, they want they're concerned about changes that they're seeing in the community, and they want to see a high level of policing, and that's what I'm working hard to try and deliver.
So what were the main concerns last night? Obviously they want to see more police officers. That seems to be a standard pretty much everywhere. What other concerns were raised?
Well, it's it's a central area of Bedford, and it's clear that they do suffer from really problems that come into the area is what they were describing, and that's why policing is important to them.
What can you do to tackle these problems and make the residents feel safer?
What I've been working on since I was elected is making the force more visible. So I am pleased that now we're able to recruit 80 police officers that will go into frontline roles. That has enabled us to review the role of our PCSOs, so we're going to give them a more community-focused role, which is what I think they're best suited for. We're also going to adjust their shifts so that they're working more of their hours at times when they will be visible. And then on top of that, we're also doubling the size of the Special Constabulary, who are volunteer police officers, but they've got the same powers, uniform and equipment as their regular counterparts. And I think, as you well know, our financial circumstances are quite challenging, but
That's an understatement, I think, isn't it?
I do think that these initiatives will make the force more visible. And, you may also know that we've got the £8 million that we're sharing with Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire Police that's going to support our investment in information technology. And again, this is about helping officers spend more time out in the community instead of having to go back to the station to complete paperwork on a desktop computer and so on.
Does visibility actually affect the amount of crime committed, or does it just make people feel better?
I think it improves people's confidence in the police, which then improves their capacity to fight crime, because if people have got confidence in the police, they'll work with the police to tackle the issues that they see. So, people, the public, are the best crime-fighting tool that the police have got. So, we want to equip. Another thing that I'm working on is equipping the public to be the eyes and ears of the force. Whether it's signing up to be to Ringmaster, the Force's community messaging service, whether it's becoming involved in local neighbourhood watch schemes, or whether it's going the whole hog and becoming a special constable. These are all ways of the public being involved in policing.
And this meeting last night, there was the tragic murder at the weekend, but this meeting had been arranged before that murder. Is that the kind of thing that you're doing? That you're having these public meetings with various groups, or is Midland Road a special?
No,
case?
I spend a lot of my evenings going to meetings and talking to people, and also hearing their concerns. That's why I know that the major concern for the public in Bedfordshire, and I suspect more widely, is police visibility.
We spoke earlier on to, let me get his name right, Chief Inspector Julian Frost of Bedfordshire Police, who said that they had managed to get a police, basically a Bobby on the beat. I can't remember her name. It was a young lady. Karen, that was it, yes, who will be kind of responsible for Midland Road and other areas. And the gentleman from the Residents Association thought that was a cracking idea. Kind of having that old-fashioned concept of a local Bobby. It's one person. You know who they are. You can go up and talk to them. You can point at... that would make a big difference, wouldn't it, I think?
Well, we still have a network across the county of local policing teams that are staffed by PCSOs supported by a sergeant with an inspector above them. So each area does have its own dedicated officers. There are some communities where we're trialling putting a police officer back into that team because of the support that that officer can give the PCSOs with their warranted powers. But our going back to the financial predicament that we've got, we're not in a position where we can do that across the piece. So it's something that we're trialling in certain areas.
Holly, the important question on everyone's lips, what do you think of my shoes? They've come in for a lot of flack from the team. I mean, what do you think?
Well, if I show you mine, OK.
There you go, look.
I probably wouldn't wear those.
This is very outrageous for me as well. So what you're saying is you don't like them?
I wouldn't wear them. They probably wouldn't go with my suit.
Well, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure to talk to you this morning, Ollie, but that would be incorrect. Thank you very much for coming in. Nice to see you. It's Ollie Martins. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can also go to facebook.com/BBC3CR. Oh, look, Noreen says, Iain, I saw your shoes while you're on the telly. Your shoes are very classy. I was impressed. Thank you, Noreen. Someone with some taste.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, we're just getting word that the M1 heading north is partly blocked by an accident involving a lorry. That's just between Junction 7 Hemel Hempstead and Junction 9 Redbourne. Thanks to John for ringing in to tell us that. Major roadworks on the M1 as well. Luton Spur in both directions between Junction 10A Kidneywood Roundabout and Junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. That'll affect you if you're travelling to the airport this morning. And also just by Boreham Wood, the A1 has queues southbound between Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the subject of the car that drove into the house, Andy on Twitter has said something quite pertinent. I bet it was an automatic. It was an automatic. He says drivers have a brain freeze when it goes wrong and stamp on the accelerator rather than the brake. Now, I've driven an automatic, and you do, if you're not used to it, you have a little panic, and I've stabbed the wrong pedal on the floor. Interesting stuff, Andy. Thank you very much. It's coming up to 8:30. Let's get the latest news and sport with Serena Farrow.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. A Labour councillor says vote rigging's been going on for years in his party in Luton. Some members are being accused of signing up friends who'll then vote them back in. Meanwhile, as we've been hearing there, police presence is now being heightened in Bedford's Midland Road a week after someone was stabbed. A group of locals met police bosses last night asking for an increased presence. Amanda Knox says she's frightened and saddened by the decision of Italian judges to overturn her acquittal for the murder of the British student Meredith Kircher. And locally, police say they need public's help following 2 deaths on the M1 in Hertfordshire. A driver was killed between junctions 5 and 6 yesterday morning after stopping his vehicle to help a man who'd fallen from a bridge. That's the news. Now let's move on to all the morning sport.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bad news for Watford fans. They lost 4-2 at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest last night. Gabriel Angela Brace looked to have given the Hornets the lead, but then 4 goals came banging in the second half. Ex-Watford player Nick Wright, who was part of our commentary team, thought the Hornets were poor towards the latter end.
When they were 2-0 up, you were never really comfortable. We never thought, we'll close this game. And I think a quality team who know their formation, know how each other play, would close the game out. You'd be comfortable that 2-0 up is a win. With Watford, you just don't feel that at the moment. You feel that there's always a chance for the opposition, and as soon as they start to put under a bit of pressure, the shape goes.
Wycombe Wanderers are hoping to stay in the Football League. Chairboys are just 2 places and 3 points above the League 2 relegation zone. That's ahead of their trip tomorrow at Bury. On football transfer deadline day then, Fernando and Eliquium Mangala may be on their way to Manchester City for a combined fee of £50 million. Elsewhere, Chelsea are looking to bring in teenage midfielder Kurt Zouma for £12 million. Cricket then, and women. England have lost their second 2020 game against Australia in the Ashes by 7 wickets this morning, though they've already won the series. Meanwhile, England's men play again shortly. They need to win to keep their game alive. Rugby, and of course it's the beginning this weekend when England will play France. It's on Saturday. That's in the 2014 Six Nations. And finally, Andy Murray will play the opening game of Britain's Davis Cup. He'll take on Donald Young. And do you know, though, that tournament's being played inside a baseball stadium? Iain Lee.
What?
Did you know that?
What?
Being played inside a baseball
I'm
stadium.
typing an update on Facebook. What are you talking about?
Andy Murray. Tennis. Tennis normally played on courts, isn't it?
I haven't got a script for this. Hang on.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's it from me. BBC Three Counties Radio. You'll be hearing more at 9. I'll was just, it's a bit of general knowledge, isn't it? It's a tidbit for you.
Very, very dangerous to throw to me whilst you're doing the news, because the assumption is I'm listening.
And you never listen to me.
I'm posting a status update on a music page I run on Facebook about how I'm going to be in the States in March, and I want to interview people about the monkeys. So
there's a slight connection. This is talking about America. It's a baseball stadium.
That was good.
You're in the States. Did you see what I'm saying?
That was good, Serena.
Not bad. Not bad there. Thanks. I like your link. It's seamless.
Really? How on earth could you top such a quality bulletin?
We're not doing that again.
Oh, I suspect that might be inappropriate and a little offensive. Go on, then.
Look, I'm sure people have heard that script a bit too long now. Too many times. And my Dutch accent, it's not getting any better, unfortunately.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Peter's in Walmer Green. Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Peter, what have you got?
I just wanted to say the manipulation of parties, basically, to gain advantage. I mean, I've got no faith in all the main parties anyway, but they all do it. They do it for political advantage so often that you get blasé about it, really, and unless it's spoken up about. I mean, even going back years where they sold off social housing, that billions of pounds have been wasted by doing that, and we're in a situation now where we accept things where they socially manipulate. If they're not doing it by putting people onto committees to make sure people are not selected, they do it by imposing a list that they want rather than.
Is part of the problem
that
we have lost interest, we've lost passion in local politics as a nation, and so therefore these things are allowed to happen.
Yeah, I think we've lost standards in our life, actually.
Oh.
I really think we've lost standards, British standards, actually. I mean, just a small point. Our troops, over the years, we've been thought of as a great nation because of the atmosphere that our troops bring to countries.
Yes.
That is disappearing, and it's disappearing fairly fast.
And why would you suggest that's disappearing? Because the troops getting up to...
disappearing because the makeup of our troops is much different.
OK, so you're kind of saying that I think that this is across the board.
The character of our country is changing.
There we go, you see, Peter. Thank you very much indeed. The character, Paul Scoynes, political reporter, joins me. The character of the country is changing, and there may be something in that. But going back to the point I made, is this happening? These alleged incidents of rigging, or have you? What's it called? Vote stacking,
branch stacking, membership packing.
Okay, if this is happening, is it because that we don't have any interest in local politics as a nation, that we're not active, that we're not getting involved, so therefore corruption is allowed to happen in all its many different forms?
Well, I need to check the figures on memberships of all political parties, but from memory, I believe they're all down. I mean, you always hear about numbers being low, and that, parties funding. That's why there's always discussions about party funding for elections and whether or not parties should be centrally funded, whether or not we should fund them through the taxpayer even. Gosh, that's controversial. But actually, there are different ways of doing it. We had a text earlier on looking at open primaries. That would then throw the selection of candidates open to the general public, and indeed that's almost like having two elections. An election in the first instance to select who you're going to elect, and then the election.
We've got a text here from David in Sundon Park. Corruption in politics, is that news? Old, I would say, since politics boils down to a popularity contest to see who is the grand poobah.
Well, yes, indeed, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the general cynicism that people have about sort of politicians of any persuasion. And indeed, I think this is partly the problem, not just to do with memberships, but also you've got, of course, the low voter turnout at elections. People might say, well, whoever is up for election X party will always get in this area, or so do you look at changing the system so that it encourages more independence to come through? Again, are they at the same behest of other people? You have to question whether or not there's anything that anybody can do in this, really. But certainly what the MPs are saying this morning, what the other councillors are saying this morning, despite what the party's official line is, I understand there will be investigations into this, no matter what the official statement says. I think privately we're being told that there are moves to at least start to investigate these allegations, and these aren't just allegations of membership and various sort of branch irregularities alleged, but of bullying as well. Let's not forget that, and that's something that was made by the outgoing, or the councillor who then dramatically resigned his seat after falling foul, he says, of this particular practice. So it looks like Labour at the moment is in a little bit of turmoil in the town of Luton, but the allegations are that this is a problem not just confined to the town.
In lots of places,
goes
lots of
elsewhere.
Parties. You can see more about this on Look East tonight. Sunday Politics on Sunday at 11. Finally, Paul, what do you think about my shoes?
Yeah.
Really?
I like brogues, but two-tone brogues,
three-tone, tritone. There are 3 tones there.
See, I saw some like that on eBay, and I'm just saying they were £35. That's a good price for some shoes, but they look a little cheap.
Well, hang on a second.
They'd look nice and, not nice, fitting with a zoot suit.
Firstly, I don't think Office sell cheap shoes. They sell quality shoes.
You look like you should have spats with those.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be doing the Charleston.
You know, in those old cartoons where Red Hot Riding Hood was there and the wolves were... Woo! That's what he'd be wearing.
I like them. I like the way... I like to look at them.
Yeah.
They interest and excite me and take me back to the film Bugsy Malone.
OK, good film.
In a good way. I'm all for it.
That's a pair of brogues, Ian.
Oh, this is a pair of school shoes. I want Justin Daly with some headphones on now.
Justin Daly, can you go through to the studio now?
Come through. Come hither.
He's just sitting there looking at page 3 of The Sun.
Hither. Come hither.
For the news.
I tell you why, because you're an old man.
Huh?
Catherine, you're an old man.
Oh.
Kelly, you're a young girl and you're hip.
Thanks, mate.
Justin Daly is hip. J-Dog, have a look at these bad boys.
Yeah, I've shouted those from day one.
Here you go, you see?
Fantastic.
I'm getting comps from the people who count. So far, the comps, the nays, Paul Scoins, Catherine Boyle.
I'm a bit more of a classic dresser.
OK, the yays, Kelly Betts,
Hello.
BBC Introducing, Justin Daly, J-Dog, J Dizzle.
Yep.
A young gentleman at the age of 26 called Lucas, who bought them for me.
Yep.
And Jim Davidson.
So if someone buys your shoes...
I'm not going to have that conversation again.
It's big time.
Big time.
Come on, Scoinsy. Keep trying.
To be fair, my wife buys my shoes. So
there you go.
buys my shoes for me as well.
OK, exactly. Jim Davidson likes these.
Yeah.
The host of Big Break, winner of Celebrity Big Brother.
He let John Virgo wear those waistcoats every week.
OK.
What kind of friend is that?
Justin, have you done anything today?
Yes, I have.
You can speak into that one.
Okay. You're going to be hearing a report very soon. On the front page of The Sun, asking people to pray for good weather. People very offended by this.
OK.
Yes.
Okay.
Page 3 girls.
Quiet today.
Why? What do you mean?
Well,
I've been bouncing around the office. I've been working on projects that are top secret.
Yeah, he has.
I have, actually.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know Lynn's waiting to talk to you.
Oh, blimey! Thank you. Sorry, out. Go, out.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Lynn. I do apologise.
Don't worry, I've enjoyed listening to you rabbiting on.
Yeah, rabbiting on is the correct word. Lynn, now what can we do for you today?
Well, I was going to say, I spoke to Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on yesterday saying about those poor people that are going to lose their homes, mentioning how cold I was with no heating.
Yes, you haven't had any heating for 3 years.
No, this is my 3rd winter.
Blimey.
And then I got a phone call from Catherine yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently a company phoned in, who I spoke to yesterday. They're going to ring me this afternoon to give me the contact they said I didn't want people just turning up who I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the guy from marketing called Darren from a company called Grant and Stone.
Grant and Stone, that's it, yes.
I think they're High Wycombe because it's 01494.
They're High Wycombe, yeah.
And he's calling me this afternoon to arrange for somebody to come round and have a look at it for me.
Yes, we're aware of Grant and Stone because they tweeted me and said, we heard Lynn's story, is there anything we can do to help? And I said, well, isn't that kind? So, now listen, I've got to say, Lynn, they look like legitimate people. We've checked them out. We've looked at their bits and pieces, but we don't know a lot about them. So, I don't know what they're going to come and do. I don't know what they're going to say. Don't give them any money until you've spoken to us. I don't know if they're going to ask for money or if they're going to come and do it for free. I've got no idea. But just, you know, all I'm saying is...
There was a slight suggestion they might be able to do it for free.
This is what I'm thinking.
And I will get a quote or something before I hand over any money.
Hey, this is it. I have the suspicion that they're going to come and do something for free. They're certainly going to come have a look for free. Give us a call on Monday. So when are they coming? Do you know?
I don't know. The guys, I've got to go to hospital this morning, so the guy's going to call me this afternoon, Darren from marketing, who was charming.
Yeah.
And then he's going to let me know what their plans are and when they're going to come.
Well, listen...
I wanted to phone because I mainly wanted to thank Catherine for leaving me the voice message.
Yeah. Catherine's pretending to be George Harrison at the moment, so...
Oh, that's all right. I like George Harrison.
I do as well.
As long as she's pretending to be him when he was still with us, bless her.
Yes, that would be...
She's not just laying on the table or anything.
She's looking like George Harrison from about 1972, so it's...
I just wanted to point out, as all your listeners already know, the actual power of your programme.
Well, there you go, you see.
And the power of your station, really.
There you go. Lynn is phoned up to say thank you for... is it Grant and Stone? Was that the name?
That's right, yes.
Name of the company.
I hope it works out.
Well, Lynn, listen, let us know what they say. I say, we don't know them. They seem like very nice people.
It's really kind of them to phone up and offer any help at all.
They're going to come and have a look. I would like to think that they might be doing it for free. Let us know, though. Do give us a call before you agree to anything and let us know, OK?
Of course I will.
And
I really just wanted to thank you all because, obviously, I did say to this guy, because he listens to Three Counties all the time, and I did say to him, and he said, well, it's because we're a community, because we are the Three Counties.
Yep.
There is a kind of community feel.
Going to be the 4 counties soon, Lynn. We're going to go and take over Northamptonshire. Are you in?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not indeed, Lynn? Listen, give us a call next week. Let us know how that goes. But we did have we had lots of nice phone calls from people yesterday offering money and things like that. That wasn't appropriate. But then we got a tweet from a building and an engineers and electricians boilers company saying, we heard that. Is there anything we can do to help? We've put the two in touch. Let's see what happens. But yes, correct, the 3 counties are soon going to become the 4 counties. Northamptonshire, we're coming for you.
It'll be a brave new world.
Oh, I can't take you... Oh, what have you... What have you done, Deals? Look at him!
He's experimenting with a new look.
He's wearing a mop-top wig and he's playing the ukulele in a rather unique manner.
That's my daughter's ukulele. Will you stop putting it there?
He's holding it in the style similar to Jimmy Page or Slash. He looks like Slash. Looks like he's Anyway, let's get to travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, it's looking slow on the M1 heading north because of an accident earlier involving a lorry. That's just between Junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead and Junction 9 Redbourne. The matrix sign there is set to 40 miles an hour. Also looking slow on the M1 heading south between Junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road and Junction 7 Hemel Hempstead. That seems to be past the scene of the northbound accident. Major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions may be having an impact too. That's between Junction 10A Kidneywood Roundabout and Junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. And there are queues by Boreham Wood on the A1 heading south between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kate, thank you very much indeed. Gosh, it's 8:46. The weekend starts in about 14 minutes. Northamptonshire, we're coming for you. It's Friday the 31st of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Some members of the Labour Party in Luton say the democratic process is non-existent following claims of vote rigging. Police presence is now being heightened in Bedford's Midland Road a week after someone has been stabbed there. And in sport, Watford lost 4-2 against Nottingham Forest last night, despite being 2-0 up at half-time. What?
Morning, boss.
What? Is there a picture of this? I want get a picture of this.
OK, I'm going to make a revelation right now. Yeah. I'm wearing a wig. Yeah. I'm meant to be one of the Beatles. I actually went to one of these transplant places once in London and looked into a hair transplant, seriously.
Why?
This is, what, $3.99? It's a bargain.
Let's get the weather.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much indeed. Still pretty chilly out there. Still just 2 degrees right across the 3 counties. And of course, we've been saying all morning there are some mist and fog patches around too. That's all going to lift into low cloud. And then we're dry for a good few hours before heavy rain sweeps in from the west. With us about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon into the west and really getting to all parts by 4 o'clock. So you'll certainly have it on your way home this evening. Wet and windy through the evening then. Temperatures on the rise actually even as that rain comes through. 6 degrees before it comes through, up to 8 by midnight, but it will be windy right the way through the night. The rain will clear away. Behind it, some clearing the skies and lows down to +1 or 2 Celsius means we could see a touch of iciness by tomorrow morning. And then some bright weather around first thing, some heavy showers to come in the afternoon though, but some drier interludes mixed in with them and staying windy with gusts of 40, maybe 50 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then it all eases for Sunday. The winds will ease, dry and bright then, the best day of the weekend with a top temperature of 8 Celsius, and that's your weather.
Thank you very much.
Roberto Perrone.
We'll talk about your partner's annoying habits. This after a woman filed for divorce after just 1 week. I know I snore and I snore badly, but I can't help it.
Roberto Perrone.
It's Friday. Why am I even bothering to go to work today? You've got to. You never know when a diving board suddenly appears in front of you and you've got to dive in. You need a lot of love, a bit of patience to keep a relationship going. Sometimes you have to turn a blind eye.
Roberto Perrone. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the phone number if you want to give us a call after yesterday's. Let's be honest, Justin. Yesterday's show, very, very poor.
Yes.
It was poor. Look, we can't beat around the bush. It was poor. And I had a message yesterday from the head of the BBC, the DG, saying that basically they have been inundated with phone calls asking for a refund.
Really?
Yeah, people have been asking.
Was it that bad?
People have been asking for a refund from their television licence for yesterday, and the BBC had to give it 0.03 pence. If you phoned up, you got that refunded either into your.
Is that my phone? Sorry.
What? Who's that?
I don't know. Should we find out who it is?
This is unbelievable. All phones off. Go on, take it. Who is it?
Solicitor. Shall I answer it?
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, it is. I'm just on the air at the moment with Iain Lee. Can I give you a call back? I'm on the radio.
And he's wearing a wig.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Was that really a solicitor?
It was, yeah.
And you speak in that voice for solicitor?
Yeah, when you mention radio, you've got to say radio, haven't you?
On the radio.
Sorry about that, yeah. As I mentioned to you last week, I'm very stressed at the moment with solicitors and estate agents.
I cannot take you seriously with that wig.
Well, you said yesterday that we're celebrating the Beatles' 50th anniversary of what?
50 years of the Beatles.
Yeah, 50 years of the Beatles. Yeah. So today we were meant to be dressing up. I've come in wearing a jumper, which is quite old, but it's nice and warm. Somebody's given me a wig, so I'm wearing a wig. You will be able to see this wig exclusively on the Three Counties Radio Facebook page very soon.
And no doubt, of course, on @JustinDealey on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter, yes. I'm on there.
Please follow Justin Dealey on Twitter because he will lose his job directly because of something he drunkenly tweets. He doesn't know the rules.
2 o'clock Saturday morning, look out on Twitter.
Stop playing with your curtains.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I feel quite cool.
Now, the front page of The Sun.
Yeah.
There are big news stories. Amanda Knox being found guilty again. Things going on all over the world. Corruption, all kinds of stuff. The front page of The Sun. Dear Lord, we've had enough. After worst January rain in history, join our prayer campaign with the patron saint against bad weather. It's St Medard, if you're interested. Bring me sunshine.
We were shocked by this, weren't we?
Talk about dumbing down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the prayer is in there. You're about to hear that prayer in this report coming up. On page 4 and 5, you've got page 3 girls outside a church next to a vicar. The whole thing is tacky. Yes, we know the weather is bad. It's affecting people terribly, some people terribly. But this, for me, is just going way, way too far. The front page of Britain's best-selling newspaper asking you to pray for good weather. Are you going to be praying?
No, I'm not. And this is a genuine prayer. This is from Sue Evans, who is the vicar of St Medard, Little Bitham Links. She looks like such a sensible person, and then she does nonsense like this.
It's crazy. So you sent me out this morning to get people's reaction. As I mentioned, you are going to hear that prayer read in this report coming up. Wow. I've been asking people, are they going to be praying for good weather? Here's what happened. So, Donna, here we are looking at the front page of The Sun. As a Christian, what's your thoughts on what you're reading there?
Well, to me, it just sounds like they're making a bit of fun out of it. I mean, it's great that people are praying, but they really should have their hearts and minds on the people that are going through this trouble, and just think about God giving them the strength to work through the troubles that they're going through.
And girls in tight T-shirts outside of church, is that going a bit too far?
That is too far, absolutely. I don't see how that can really prompt people to pray.
Well, of course, this horrible weather at the moment is horrible. We want a bit of sun, don't we, Charlie?
How old's Charlie?
He's 2.
He's 2 years old. He wants sun. We all want sun.
We all want sun. We do, don't we?
But the thing is, though, is that going a bit over the top? A front page of a newspaper asking you, and there's a prayer inside, they're asking you to pray for good weather.
It is a bit over the top. There's more important issues out there than the weather. If we have good weather, we have good weather. If we don't, we don't. I don't think that we should be praying for it. Mother Nature will do what she wants to do.
Tom, as somebody with Christian beliefs, there is the front page of the Sun newspaper asking you to pray for good weather. Are you going to be praying for good weather?
No. I think it's pointless. Pathetic, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Lee, I've caught you there with your Sun newspaper. Are you going to be praying?
Yes, I think so, baby. Yeah, I am a Christian.
Would you like to read us the prayer? It's on page 5. There it is.
Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the gift of water, and in many parts of the world we know people suffer and die for lack of rain. But dear Lord, we've had enough. We ask you, please, that the rain may stop soon. We pray for all those people and animals suffering from floods at St. Medard, needed protection from the rain. So now do many people of the land for Jesus' sake, amen.
Is that not a bit over the top?
Yeah, I suppose it is, yes. What I don't like is it's a bit over the top when you've got the prayer, isn't it? And you've got the Page 3 girls next to the singing at the same time. That's what I thought was a bit... I like Page 3 girls. I do. I'm not saying...
He doesn't, yeah.
Well, he doesn't. But I don't think it should be with a vicar. That's my personal opinion.
It does, listen, and we knocked the Sun quite a bit. I think they deserve a knocking today. This is rubbish.
Yeah, it is. Absolute rubbish. The front page of a national newspaper, and that man makes a very good point there. Everyone likes Page 3 girls, but not next to a vicar.
It ruins the mood.
Yeah, it does, yes.
What's on your show tomorrow, 9 o'clock?
9 until 12 tomorrow, 3 hours of brilliant songs, the UK and American charts from this weekend in 1974, plus Del Richardson from Ossie Bisa. Fantastic hit in the 1970s, Sunshine Day. He picks his favourite musical memories. It's going to be a cracker.
Justin Daly, thank you very much indeed. Have a nice weekend. Right, should we have a quick look at the front page of the newspapers to wrap up? We've not got anything else, have we?
Oh, let's.
I can get you a caller if you want.
Well, yeah, why, yeah.
All right. Let's go do that now.
Shall I wait?
Yeah. Stay there.
By the way,
dialing his number.
Northamptonshire, seriously, we're on our way. We'll be there... Oh, don't do a monobrow with that. We'll be there about 10 o'clock.
Funny you should say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're coming to...
This is a good idea.
Our caller wanted to talk about that, but he said that he'd be driving through a rough patch, and it appears that he is.
Oh, OK, but this is what's going to happen. At 1 minute past 9, we're going to have a team debrief. At 2 minutes past 9, I'm going to jump in my car. Justin Dilly's going to jump in his. We'll meet... I've not looked outside, but I'm guessing there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there who want to march onto Northamptonshire. The 3 counties, no. By Monday, we will be the 4 counties. The 4 counties. Isn't that a little... No, 2 Ronnies thing. I want 4 counties. Glenn's from Northampton. Morning, Glenn.
Morning, Ian.
We're coming for you, Glenn.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No, because I switch you on as soon as... When I leave Northampton, because I work in Leighton Buzzard.
Yep, good for you.
When I've listened to the traffic and travel, I switch you straight on. So, great.
Tell me why, Glenn. What makes this show better than the breakfast show in BBC Northampton?
Stuart Linnell's boring.
Yep.
They don't have a Justin Dealey.
Yep.
They don't have 2 cracking ladies in there helping. So, yes.
Right. Glenn, listen, don't panic, brother. We're coming to rescue you. You're going to be a little refugee. We're going to come and help you. We'll give you shelter. We'll look after you. We'll give you entertainment. We'll give you a man with a bleached blonde hair and a microphone. We're coming your way, brother.
What about a pair of shoes?
Can we leave the shoes out of it, please? Let's leave the shoes out of it. It's happening. We're coming to Northamptonshire. We're going to take the county, and then we're going to take the radio station, and then we're going to take, well...
the world.
Well, no.
I've just had a call from Peter in Kempston. He couldn't come on because he's just about to get onto the motorway. He speaks like this. All right, babe? Yeah, load of cobblers, what you are on about with the destroying up Northampton. All right, Duck, loads of cobblers. And then he hung up.
That's a good thing. Is that like the grill?
Cobblers are Northampton team, aren't they?
OK. Well, we're going up there. It's
Northampton
happening.
United.
It's actually happening. They said it couldn't happen, but it will. Just time to remind you that we do a weekly best of podcast. There'll be a new one up probably about midday today, something like that. If you want to get it, if you want to get it fresh, you go to the BBC Three Counties website and you can download it from there. If you want it a little bit cooler, it appears on iTunes normally in the evening, sometimes on the Saturday morning. Follow me at Iain Lee, and I'll tweet when it's up and about. Adam's from Northampton. Morning, Adam.
Morning.
We're coming to liberate you, Adam.
Oh, I hope you do, mate. Please, please, please. I love your show. I love all your shows.
Tell us why this show is so much better than the breakfast show in Northampton.
Oh, you're more happier. You wake me up. You brighten my day.
Mate, listen, we're coming. We'll be up there. Are you in Northampton now?
I'm just on the outskirts at the moment. I'll be in there in about 15 minutes.
Hey, I tell you what. Right, listen. I'll give you my details. Could you send me a little text when the road is clear so we can just storm straight through?
No problem.
Excellent stuff. We've got infiltrators, double agents working for us.
Let's call them scouts.
Yeah, they're our scouts. Adam is our scout. This is awesome. This is actually happening. Don't worry, Northamptonshire. You may hear a little bit of banging. You may hear a little bit of music from the 60s, 70s and the 80s. You may have a microphone thrust in your face. If any of those things happen today or over the weekend, do not panic. It's just this show coming to Northamptonshire, taking over the county, taking over the radio station.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, the traffic has returned to normal in the M1 heading north. It's cleared between junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead and 9 for Redbourne. Also looking heavy on the M1 southbound between junction 10, the Luton Airport Spur Road, and junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. On the M1, major roadworks on the M1 Luton Spur in both directions between junction 10A, Kidneywood Roundabout, and junction 10, Luton Airport Spur Road. So that might affect you if you're travelling to the airport this morning. And there are also queues on the A1 southbound between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. That's at Boreham Wood. Kate Mason, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kate, thank you very much indeed. Right, that's it. That's your lot for today. Your lot for this week from me. We're off to Northamptonshire after the show. We will be back on Monday at 6 o'clock, proclaiming the start of BBC Four Counties Radio. JVS is up next. Until Monday from me, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning, thank you, Iain. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's 9 o'clock, it's Friday morning, and on today's big phone-in, would you advise today's teenagers to go to university? The number of people applying to go to university